It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wants to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
The views expressed by callers, guests, and contributors on The Cold Hard Truth are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Cayman Marl Road, its management, sponsors, or affiliates. CMR encourages open discussion, but all participants are responsible for their own statements. Please speak truthfully, responsibly, and respectfully.
Good morning, beautiful folks. How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. Everybody good? We got lots to cover today. We've got the minister who's going to be joining us shortly of planning. He's got a, let me tell you, he has a lot of responsibility. Every time I have to say his ministry, I feel worn out afterwards because PLAHI, planning, lands, agriculture, housing, and infrastructure. Woo! Yes, that's a big one. That's a big one, folks. All right, well, we're going to get it. Don't worry, he was on here yesterday, and a lot of you had questions, so I have banked those questions so that we can get back to them. You're going to notice some changes around here. We've finally got around to doing some of our show disclaimers and all that other stuff. I may add a few more as we go along, but I did a few last night. And, I was just trying to leave it up to you all to behave. And then I realized that some people just don't have no behavior. So when they have no behavior, you got to do what you got to do, honey chill. All right. Is Carrie around today? Somebody sent me her post from a couple days ago where she was trying to take up for your hand. Poor thing. I don't know what to tell you, honey child, but Y'all keep missing the mark. You can't take up for bad behavior. One thing I realized, though, I have to chuckle because I do wonder about some of you and your parenting back in the day. And I'm like, I wonder if these people never had an Aunt Lottie in their life. Because, boy, y'all were getting away with murder as kids, clearly, because you don't understand the concept of consequences. that could be the only explanation, that no one really showed you any consequences in life. Because I'm just like, this is so weird that they think they're going to break the law of CMR and just continue doing whatever they want. I'm just like, how? How does that work? No, sir. Not around here, it doesn't. So I feel sorry for y'all, but I don't feel sorry for y'all, if you know what I mean. Multiple warnings. And y'all still trying to try auntie. Tisk tisk. Y'all should know better. And the thing is, I feel like I'm too soft. Y'all are like, oh, that's so harsh. In reality, I think I'm being way too soft. I'm like, you gotta nip certain things in the bud, and giving y'all multiple chances. Because yes, every single one had multiple chances. Nobody can say, they got blocked with that warning. No, everybody had multiple chances, honey chill. Y'all just did not want to listen. And so, my aunt used to say, you take the bucket to the well every day, and one day the bucket's going to fall out. Y'all understand what that means, right? You keep doing the same thing, but one day the bucket's going to fall out. Or another one she used to say is, you can do as much as you want, but not for as long as you want. They had some good sayings in the day, boy. You make your bed hard, you're going to lay in it. What other ones were good for like accountability, teaching kids accountability? Yeah, she used to use that one a lot. You make your bed hard, you're the one who got to lay in it. Good morning. Well, good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Damaris. Yesterday was a hot mess down by the turtle farm. So I'm going to talk about that ever so briefly before the minister comes on. Such a sad situation. Sounds like two Caymanians got into a physical altercation. And unfortunately, one of them is now in the hospital with serious injuries. Mr. Kenneth Christian essentially was attacked by some gentleman, I'm using that term ever so lightly, who apparently was, I'm trying to understand what the argument was about. And I'm hearing that it was over turtle meat. My God, y'all cannot be serious. Geez, some peace. I hear you. I hear that turtle meat is expensive and all this kind of stuff, but are y'all for real right now? It's not worth trying to cut a man's ear off and stabbing him in the neck. That much I know. This is crazy. Anyway, my sources revealed that yesterday he went into surgery and he had lost a significant amount of blood. So we are hoping. I didn't realize that Mr. Kenneth, he's also called the medicine man. I did not realize that he was up in age. He's like in his 80s. You can imagine attacking an 80-year-old like that? Like, come on. Somebody said, well, Mr. Kenneth can be feisty and feisty. I said, I don't care how feisty and feisty somebody is. I don't see that being a requirement for an 80-year-old man. Come on now. Like, what's he going to do to you? Y'all need to do better. We're wishing him a full recovery. Poor thing. But like I said to someone yesterday, when you have that kind of a severe injury at that age, your body doesn't really bounce back in the same way. If you're a 40-year-old and that kind of thing happens, you might be okay. But when you're 80, And a little slip and fall or injury can have significant consequences. So the man who everyone says is responsible for this is a man by the name of, hold on, let me tell you who this madman's supposed to be, because I don't know him, but I'm hearing that, oh, honey child, he is crazy. Although someone said something interesting, Caymanians, well, when he was growing up, he was quiet, I'm like, what was that, 60 years ago? What are y'all talking about here? Drayson Watson. Now, I think there might be two Drayson Watsons. I think there's a son and a father. This is what I'm suspecting because of what people are saying to me about the age. And then they said there's one that they know that works for government, which I think is a different person. So I don't know if this Drayson Watson, I understand this particular one is a Turtle Farm employee. So I guess he's the older Drayson Watson, perhaps. Trying to still figure that part out. But there was some argument about where he parked. Listen to how stupid this is now. Some argument over where he parked, and Drayson Watson, this Turtle Farm employee, led to this argument and discussion. And then that led to, I guess, a knife coming into the situation, serious injury to his ear, and a wound on his neck. Thankfully for Drayson Watson, he missed the major artery in the neck, because had he not, we would be talking about a death this morning. And I'm sure now that Drayson is reflecting on this in police custody, he's probably kicking himself and saying, oh my gosh, how stupid was I for reacting in the moment. Sometimes we gotta just learn to walk away. I know it's challenging and difficult sometimes, but there is something to be said for just walking away. Take it from me, just walk away. It's not worth it. So incredibly sad. We'll continue to pray for Mr. Kenneth that he has a full recovery. Good morning. I see lots of beautiful people here. Miss Marva, Patricia Blake, Debbie is in the house. Abby's with us. Where's Johan? Is he here? She says, Abby says, hashtag free Johan. I feel sorry for you, Abby, but that's not gonna happen. He'll learn one way or the other. He can still comment though. We saw him in the comment section yesterday asking who was going to get blazed up. So he has the ability to comment still. That is not yet. Because if y'all misbehave in the comment section, you get blocked there too. YouTuber, but I must tell you, I'm much more liberal with what you do in the comment section, because we can just scroll past it and ignore it. You see the difference? It's much more challenging when you call in on the radio. All right. YouTuber says, morning, Sandra. They all know better. They could never call Radio Cayman and speak the same way. The blatant disrespect to you. You need to recognize that, honey child. I keep telling you, I'm a very patient person until I have no more. But I agree, it's disrespectful to the platform. It's disrespectful to me and the rules that I've set. And, especially when I keep warning you, it's so funny, YouTuber, how people think I'm being harsh, but then they ignore all of the warnings the people had gotten. Oh, but Sandy, you not gonna block her. You not gonna block him. I'm like, how many times? Even her little friend Alejandro, like I was sick and tired of warning Alejandro. Because, the times that he would not talk about weed, sometimes he would have some salient points. Y'all don't know how much weed burning out your brain cells, by the way. I was listening to something about that the other day, and we're going to circle back to it. Because as a country that wants to decriminalize it, I hope y'all understand exactly what it is that you're doing when you decriminalize it. Because quite frankly, we don't need no more people in Cayman with less brain cells. You guys understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is our people, we have some bright people, but we have a lot of ignorant people. Just the situation I was just talking about. That alone is an example of how ignorant we can be. Who the hell is fighting at the turtle farm? Seriously. Are y'all loco? And to think now that we would want to impact the brain cells of our young people even more, to me, is shocking. God knows that they not got no brain cells to spare. Most of them struggling as it is. Don't worry. Y'all can keep arguing with me, but you can't argue with science. Well, y'all argue with science too, apparently. But one day it's going to sink in what I'm telling y'all about this whole weed business. You think you can smoke it without consequences? Oh, it's an herb. It's good for you, Sandy. Well, the science doesn't prove that at all. The science does not prove that it's good for you. Now they know it's associated with all sorts of mental health, psychosis, and issues. I'm just saying, decriminalize that and see what kind of society we can have in 30 years. Y'all complaining you can't get jobs now. Good luck to you, Papa. You're not going to be able to get nothing in 30 years. And you can't blame the expats for that one. It's your lack of understanding and refusing to accept what is before you, refusing to look at the science. We're all about data-driven decisions around here. Make the data help you decide, honey child. YouTuber says Kenneth was a wife beater. Our little atonement won't hurt. Oh, Jesus, peas. One thing with y'all have zero filter. I mean, I don't know nothing about the man, so I cannot comment on that comment or anything else for that matter. Marshall says the other saying is, if you can't hear, you'll feel. That one's a good one. My aunt used to say that one a lot. You can't hear, you'll feel. And she meant it literally too. I was like, oh man. Morning, Robert. Strong Wilt is in the house. Miss Barbara, haven't seen you in a minute. Very Pat says, unfortunately, Johan thought he would get a pass. He went too far this time. I'm not sure why he thought that, Very Pat. I guess because he thought he could take advantage of the Brownie relationship or the relationship that we have outside of work. I don't really know. And, yeah, you can be a friend and you can still have the consequences to face. Regardless, it don't really make no difference to me who you are. But I get it because I understand that Caymanians have this thing that we do where when we like someone, right, or they're a friend, we don't want to hold them accountable. That's true in the world of politics. It's true with so many different things. Family members, we don't want to hold them accountable because they're family. And I'm just like, really? If someone really cared about you, they would actually be holding you accountable. You see, that's the difference. So, yeah, I don't know where he got that in his head, Pat, but anyway, I guess he knows better now. Leroy says, give Johan some brownies. You know what I had to chuckle about? Everyone that was sitting here watching it, there's people who reached out and said, well, now that Johan has done this, he doesn't deserve any brownies. Can I get his share? I was just like, I had to chuckle. I'm like, y'all are so crazy for these brownies. OMG. Oh, I hadn't made any in a while, and I made some week before last, and I must tell you, because I hadn't had any in a while, I went overboard with how many I had. I had like 3 pieces. Oh my God. Good morning, Mr. Henry. Says, good morning, Sandra. What happened yesterday at the Turtle Farm Butcher Shop kills my mind, from Turtle Farm and the turtle meat as well. Many moons before I return to that place again. Aw, so sad. Really, really sad. I mean, we'll get more details, I'm sure, as it goes along. Tartarian says, fun fact, did you know that the rind and peel of Seville orange what we use to make swanky gives the same effect as weed. I seriously doubt that, Tartarian. What effect are you referring to, first of all? The same effect as weed, meaning what exactly? Which of the effects? Because there's a lot that you get with weed, actually. Good morning, Mr. Amelia. I think the minister's ready. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, all right. He looks ready. So, I'm automating more and more certain things during the show, and I hope you guys appreciate what goes into these little extra elements. So first one up, I was sitting here last night thinking to myself, I'll do a nice little intro for the minister. And then I said, you know what? Let me pre-record it. Save some of my real voice in the morning. Here we go, folks. Good morning, Cayman. Welcome to another edition of Ministry Matters right here on Cayman Mall Road and the Cold Hard Truth. I'm your host, Sandy Hill, and this program is designed to give the people of the Cayman Islands direct access to the individuals entrusted with leading some of the country's most important ministries. Ministry Matters is about transparency, accountability, and public education. It is an opportunity for government ministers to come directly to the people, speak openly about the issues falling under their responsibility, answer difficult questions, explain government policies and projects, and voluntarily sit in the hot seat. These conversations are important because the public deserves to hear firsthand what is happening within the ministries that impact their daily lives. We appreciate the ministers and government officials who have committed to participating in these discussions and engaging with the public in a meaningful and transparent way. This morning, we're pleased to welcome the Honorable J. Ebanks, Minister of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, and Infrastructure. We'll be discussing a number of important issues currently fall under his ministry's remit, including housing, infrastructure development, roads, planning matters, agriculture, and other national priorities affecting communities across the Cayman Islands. Minister Ebanks, good morning and welcome to Ministry Matters. All right, folks, drum roll, please. Put your virtual hands together for the Honorable Minister of Planning, Lands, Housing, PLAHI, Planning, Lands, Housing, Agriculture, and Infrastructure. Minister, good morning.
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning to the listening audience. Good morning to everyone in the Cayman Islands. I'm happy to be here this morning with you all to answer the questions.
Yes,
looking forward
sir.
to a great show.
Thank you so much for joining us back. We know you were in the program yesterday and people had a lot of questions specific to your ministry. So we are literally going to go ahead and dive right in. First of all, you're looking sharp. I love the shirt this morning.
Thank you.
Yes. A lot of people are saying to me that members of the NCFC government seem to be losing weight. And, I think I'm going to ask you, are you on that journey as well? Because it looked like you're slimming down a little bit.
I think everybody is taking wellness a lot more serious. With the high stress job, it's something that I think the whole entire caucus has decided that we need to make sure that we're getting their wellness part in. So it seems like it's paying off. So it's not just stress that's taking the weight off. It's part of the wellness and trying to make sure that we're keeping ourselves as fit as we can to be able to be in this job.
Yeah, you got to deliver for the people, and health is wealth, as we say. So absolutely. I mean, I love it. I've been saying it for a long time that it'd be good to see government get in there and demonstrate to the people what we all know that we need to do. So yeah. Congratulations.
There's been some better food around the government building lately also, so that may help.
Fantastic. No turtle meat. Minister, we have so many questions prepared here for you because there are people, as soon as they saw you yesterday, you've got a lot of responsibility, like a lot of areas of responsibility. So we're going to try to go through these as systematically as we can, because I know the desire sometimes is to jump, sort of all over the place. So let us address very, very specific things. First of all, congratulations on the the successful first year of the NCFC anniversary. I think this government, by all accounts, have been working cohesively as a unit and really demonstrating that you guys are about the people's business and really trying to get things done on and for the people of the Cayman Islands. Shall we start with the Residential Tenancy Act? Because this was something that came up in yesterday's discussion. And
Right.
I think that there are a lot of scenarios. Even last night, I was on the phone with the police late into the night where there's a dispute with a landlord and tenant in West Bay, and she's basically trying to get this guy out who's staying in her house for over 12 months, rent free. And the police seem confused. Oh, it's a civil matter. You have to get a court order. We can't help, but yet. When they show up, the landlord says, but hold on a second, you're taking his side. You're telling him that he can stay. That's not right. It's a hot mess all over the place. There's so many instances of bad landlords, bad tenants. When are we going to get legislation that addresses a lot of these issues?
So, Sandra, on the Residence and Tenancy Act, it's something that my team we've been working on this for quite some time now. As we mentioned yesterday, we're hoping that we can have a first draft out to the public very shortly. And we're looking to be able to get this to our second sitting in Parliament if everything goes good. That's also taking in the 21 public day consultation work also, getting the feedback from everyone. Because, we draft what we think looks right for everybody, but then we put it out to the public to get their feedback. So getting that feedback from those are the renters and from the landlords also is great. And so that we can make sure that we're not being one-sided on the tenancy law, but we have a balanced approach going forward into it. But I know it's been a long time that everyone's been asking for that. And that was one of the first things that I asked my team that when we walked in that we needed to look at, of getting a draft going for this so that we could it became where I guess in a large ministry you decide on your top priorities first, but it was a high priority. But there's other things that we had to get over the goalposts quickly, a little bit more quicker. This one is right behind us now to deliver in the September sitting Parliament as everything goes great.
Yes. Any thoughts as to, I know you said that you're trying to strike the balance and there'll obviously be some consultation, but within the Residential Tenancy Act, I think there's been a draft version of the bill that has been sitting around for years, if my memory serves me correctly.
There's been several drafts that I've seen around, and some of them just need basically a dusting off and kind of combining them together, and a little bit more improvement on them as time moves on. We realize that like any law, they're all live documents, so we need to improve them as we continue to move. But what I would say is that when we have our first draft ready and presented, then I think what we need to do is have a segment on your show just dedicated to that Resident Tenancy Act, because it's going to be a large one that affects, I would say, a wide portion of individuals in the island. And again, what we don't want to do is put something in place that does not carry the weight that it needs to carry. So there's going to be a lot of public consultation on with it to make sure we're getting it exactly right. Maybe there may be a road tour, listening tour with it that we hear from every pretty much all the districts also on it. So we're getting that direct feedback when it comes to that particular act. But I'm excited about it because it's something that's been sitting for a long time.
Absolutely.
And no one's done anything with it. And with the blessings of the government and their support, they said absolutely, they were supportive of it. So that gave us the green light to go ahead and start to look at drafting it and then get starting to do the works that were needed to be done.
It's time, yeah. Fantastic. All right, so that's coming. Let me just see. We got to get the questions from yesterday. So another key area, and I know that you have some limited time with us this morning, so we're going to kind of do it rapid fire style. But another key area is always as it relates to public beach access.
Mhm.
And I know you in this government, NCFC government, has really committed to doing something about this. And you had mentioned in the past about signage going up and identifying all of the public access locations. What developments can you give us in terms of an update?
Happy to update you on the public beach access. First, let me start off with the ones that were in the public recently that were mentioned that they were blocked and that, where some construction work was going on and everything else. We were able to meet with pretty much every single homeowner
Mm-hmm.
that these beach access went through their property. And I must say, every homeowner was very open, very apologetic, and was willing to help assist in what we had to do in opening the beach access. Some of them kind of inherited it, just bought the property not knowing anything about it. So it's been there for decades. But they were still open and saying, look, hey, we understand. So the first one we looked at was just a matter, there's a seawall that was there, and the owner agreed that, we could cut the entrance, put steps down to it, no problem. He had we're looking at that. We're actually putting out bids right now to the contractors to be able to help with opening the wall, building the steps for us to get out. The next one was the second one from there was there was a retaining wall on the boundary property that needed to be knocked down and moved.
Mm-hmm.
The house was under renovation, and I must say we met with the contractor, we met with the owner. The owner has just bought the property, not knowing anything about the beach access, that he had it blocked. And he was very open, willing to say, hey, whatever I got to do, I'm new to the island. I want to be a part of everyone here. I want to be part of the solution, not the problem. And
Mm-hmm.
he's also agreed to work with us to knocking down his wall and actually moving the wall over to the boundary where it needs to be. And this wall now, so we're working with him going through the planning stages of it because his electricity was also mounted to this wall. So we need to shift the wall, get the electricity moved over for his house, move some of the one of the light poles so that he can continue to get power to the house. But it's all in a working framework. We're moving forward with it. We're getting the estimates together for that one. The next one that was blocked, that was off of the Prospect Cemetery. We got in contact with the owner. He sent someone out to clean it up, and then he had where there was a section of the wall that was blocked, and there was a stairwell that actually went down. And from our understandings, the reason that the stairwell was blocked and he was also a new owner that just purchased the property. But
Mm-hmm.
the stairwell that was blocked there was blocked because at some point in time there was a turtle that crawled up the stairwell and got trapped in that stairwell. And that's why they decided to block the stairwell off. So with the PLC team looking back at it, what we're doing is coming up with some options of how we can actually try to mitigate that from ever happening again, but
Mm-hmm.
also having to make sure that we bring the stairwell up to codes because it definitely was not up to code, and we wanted to make sure that anyone who's going down there doesn't trip and fall, and we got the right steps going through. So all of this is actually the scope of works have been done for all of them, and we're getting ready to go out right now with contractors to help us engage of doing this, completing these works.
Mm-hmm.
And as of the rest of the beach access that we're looking at, the government has just gone out and hired a few more helps for recreation and parks. And what we're looking at doing now is the recreation and parks team is going to be help cleaning all of these beach access that we have. And we have several beach accesses throughout the whole island,
Mm-hmm.
but we have several hundred more that need to be registered to. So there is registered beach access and those that aren't registered. We're looking forward to working with the PLC team what we have to do to register some of the new ones that have not been registered before. So everything's in a working motion. I would say that the team is out there doing their job now. As I said, there's over 100 of them, so we have to be patient with the teams that we have, making sure that they're getting to each one of them and getting them clean. Because at the same time, they're cleaning the parks, they're cleaning the cemeteries, and they're also hitting the beach access. So they're working with every one of them. So if you haven't seen them get to one particular one yet, rest assured that they have a list of them that they're working on. If there's one that you think that they may be missing, please reach out to me, send something to me. We can send them there to actually get that one cleared. And then there was another one that was just off of the old Prospect Road that just needed some trimming out, and the team is out there going to be trimming that out too.
Yeah.
So it's a working goal on all of them.
Yeah. And what division is responsible for cleaning up the public access?
So right now, the law says that the owner of the property is responsible for keeping them clean.
Oh.
And that's where we get a gray area, because some owners don't think that it's their responsibility because it's not, they don't consider it their land anymore. So we need to clean up that legislation a little bit there and make sure that the responsibility is going to be for government to keep them clean in the future, if we want to make sure that they're maintained properly.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that seems logical. All right. So hopefully that legislative change will be coming. It's so interesting that there's little things in the law that need to be tweaked that can make a significant difference, right?
And I'm seeing one of your writers put in about the Weston one here.
Yes.
The Weston one is something that we're looking at right now. Got some legal opinions on that one. I could tell you that I went out there recently, and that writer is right about that, where we see staff utilizing that beach access. And we're looking at cordon off that one with some type of fencing in the future here for that one, so that we can identify, so that individuals know the separations of that, where the right-of-way is from where the Weston property is.
Okay. Because I suppose that there are instances where the public might think that the right-of-way is here, that a right-of-way exists, and that may not necessarily be the case. So when you talked last time about signage. Absolutely.
So I've been reliably informed by my good friend in the ministry that he has a new sign ready to present to me, hopefully today, or if not by Friday. So I know I have a really busy day today, so if I don't get caught up with him today, definitely I know I would see the sign by tomorrow, and we can take it from there. And maybe you'll start to see new signages coming up at pretty much all the public beaches, but also new signages coming up at the launching ramps also, because I want to remind individuals that the launching ramps aren't for commercial use. And we're seeing a lot of commercial use being utilized at the launching ramps. And not only that, but what's happening is a lot of individuals are leaving their vehicles, leaving their equipments, leaving their trailers there for long periods of time. And then when the Caymanians need to use the launching ramps, they're hindered because they can't find place to park their vehicle. And a lot of our docks are getting destroyed because of the size vessels we're using against the docks, right? And we want to make sure that's why we've taken the approach under since I've came in, that all the docks that we've been building are actually concrete docks instead of wooden docks. Because by building the concrete docks, they now can take larger vessels alongside them, but they will be able to go through the category 4 and 5 hurricanes that we have coming in.
Right.
Be able to remove the inserts of the dock so the water just flows through the middle of them. And it helps us without not having to, every single year we have a hurricane pass by, we don't have to go back out and repair every single dock every year. So we find that the concrete ones are going to last a lot more longer, and it'll take the strength of larger vessels tugging and pulling on them. So we're making these improvements, and we're just taking that approach that, you know what, It may cost a little bit more in the build.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance of it is nothing. Whereas you have to maintain a wood one pretty much every single year. The
Right.
concrete one goes for years, and unless it's something drastically happens to it. But yeah, so there's going to be signage coming up at most of these launching ramps. Also, just reminding the public because there's going to be legislation that's going to have to be changed also, where we're going to be able to enforce fines on individuals that are using the ramps, using the docks for commercial use that are not supposed to be used for.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be part of the PLC. I've asked my PS, Ms. Hunter. She's going to be spearheading that up for me and putting that all together for me of how those fines are going to be looking like and what those changes are going to be. So I would say very shortly we'll see some more legislation coming down and talking about how that change is going to be happening.
Yes, wonderful. Make them hefty fines. I'm tired of government putting fines in place that are so easy for people to pay. For example, with the blue spot, when people violate that, it's just a couple $100. And I'm shocked at that because we see constant violations every day. And we know that government needs revenue. So, let's start increasing some of these fees for that type of behavior.
Absolutely. I mean, I pretty much get a call at least once a week from someone that's wanting to use a ramp, sending a picture and says, look at what I have to deal with today. And one of the larger ramps at the Lobster Pot, we're asking individuals, please don't park on the ramp. We've seen too much of that happening now. Now, I know Lobster Pot has a significant problem with parking, but parking on the ramp isn't the solution either, because when you park on the ramp, it hinders anyone else from being able to use the ramp. While we have the property next door that the government purchased in the last administration, maybe we'll look at maybe opening that property where vehicles can be able to park over on that side for the time being. Because we do know Lobster Pot is a significant ramp that a lot of individuals use. But again, it is hindered because it doesn't have enough parking spaces.
Right. Few quick questions. Ms. Lisa says, good morning, Ms. Sandra and Minister J. Ebanks, and a big congrats to your government on your first year anniversary. Thank you for your transparency. Sophia says that maybe government should invest in putting some garbage cans in those areas because the mess that people leave is not nice. So, gosh, we have to remind people to constantly be responsible as both citizens of this country and residents. Let's take pride in our environment.
Absolutely. Sandra, we do need to put more garbage bins out there. Me, myself, and my committee in Northside has taken an approach where I've just got at least 20 bins for Northside. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting them pink, and we're going to be putting them all through Northside along the Frank Sound Road, right stretched down to Rome Point, because what we do find is a lot of people are throwing their trash out of the window. So we're hoping that if we put these bins throughout the whole district, people can stop and throw a bin in. So within every mile, you should be able to cross a bin somewhere alongside the road that you can put in there. And then the recreation and parks teams, when they're going through, they can just stop and empty those bins for us, right? And it'll help keep the sides of the roads clean, because I find, especially on the after the weekends on Monday mornings, going out through Frank Sound and Northside, you see a lot of trash being thrown all over the side of the road. So, in the future coming up, I've got the bins already. Hoping this weekend we can take the weekend to be able to paint them into a nice bright pink so people can notice them, and we'll start to put them out on the side of the roads going forward.
Wonderful.
But yes, we do need to add more bins to our parks area and to our launching ramp areas.
Miss Anita says quite a few of the beach access are really just water access, so the signs need to be clear about that.
That's correct.
All right, Miss Amelia says to give one of your comments there, Kaboom. No problem. Oh, there we go. There we go. She also says not only hefty fines, but enforcement. Mr. Allard, good morning, says, when can government install CCTV cameras at those dock locations where fines can immediately be levied against those commercial operators?
Sandra, that's something we can definitely take a look at to make sure we're covering all of their docks, and maybe I'll speak to Minister Nick DaCosta on that and how we can work in a joint venture together. I know recently we worked in a venture together where I was having a spike of burglaries in the Rum Point area in the north side during the Christmas season, and I met with the police and we took a look at direct areas where we thought that cameras would be needed. So we went, and I think it was at least 13 or 14 different locations and cameras that we're going to be putting up from Rum Point and also covering Queens Highway, because there's never been any cameras on the Queens Highway. So we're covering that area also as much as we can to be able to try to make sure we can keep up with that, but also making sure that the cameras are visible at the Northside Police Station. Now that we have someone that's there manning the police station 24 in the daytime right now, the commissioner's promised, and I hope he's keeping his fingers crossed that he's with that promise that he's going to have someone there that's going to be able to man the station at the nighttime coming up shortly also. But we will look at working and seeing if we can add some more cameras to some of the launching ramps. I know part of that program that I did recently, we also looked at adding a camera to the Town public beach there. And we also added some cameras to monitor the Frank Sound launching ramp out on that side also, which the police was happy to know that we're covering those locations.
Wonderful. All right, folks, we just want to remind people the phone lines are open. Someone said, can we call in? Yes, you can call in. Of course. You're not blocked like Johan because you've been good. Good students can call 936-2626. But let me just remind you of a few little things that are breaking at this moment. That we've got an accident by the, what's that area called? The Bobby Thompson stoplight. Oh, that's a hot area for accidents. Apparently there's one this morning, I'm being told. And also there is a fire, a warehouse fire that is happening down off of what we call Dump Road. I forget what the proper name for it is. Seymour, is that Seymour Drive? Seymour Drive. So we've gotten some footage around that this morning. So big shout out to our police, not police, but our fire service. Here they are, folks, on location, ensuring that warehouse fire gets under control. Cayman Islands Fire Service, always, I think, doesn't get enough thanks for the amazing job that they do on a regular basis. Look at them fighting that fire this morning. So thank you to all of the hardworking men and women with the Cayman Islands Fire Service.
Absolutely.
So Mr. Amelia,
they're running in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Amelia says that their garbage cans are there and people are just nasty. I've seen garbage being dumped in the sea by lobster pot. Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
We need to get more cameras to cover that area.
Yeah.
So we start to find these individuals. Yes.
Absolutely. And accountability. Like if you see it and you have your phone in hand, record it, because we've seen the police take the position that the littering fees have just been increased. And they have said, yes, we will prosecute people for this sort of thing, but they need the evidence, right? So they need people to come forward to give statements if you see commercial dumping or anything of the sort. And if you have your camera, your phone, record it so that they have the necessary evidence as well. Ms. Debbie says the Alpers are using the West Bay public dock as well as controlling Guantanamo Bay dock. If you know of specific offenders when it comes to using docks for commercial purposes, is there anyone, like who do you reach out to report that?
Well, they should report anything that does with the public beach right-of-ways, docks, go to the PLC.
The PLC, okay. And that's the Public Lands Commission. And they're also responsible for the maintenance and the situation on 7 Mile Beach?
So right now, Sandra, the maintenance on 7 Mile Beach is with Recreation and Parks, which is with PWD. And so what we're looking at doing now is transitioning Recreation and Parks with the PLC team and allowing PLC to be in control of, not just because they actually, control what can be happening, what can be done at the parks, And so we're saying now it only makes sense, instead of segregating and having someone maintain them, doing the repairs, we think PLC should be more responsible for maintenance and repairs. So um, the government has already taken forward where they and given me permission to move recreation and parks with PLC. So that is all in transition right now to make that happen.
Okay. All right. And I just want to
I
say,
thank Mr. Johan for his comment.
yes, I'm going to get to him here in just a second. We do have about 15 minutes left. And so the suggestion from your team has been, because we know that there's going to be a lot of questions around housing, that perhaps we table housing until next week, and then we can do an entire show on just housing, because there's a lot. There's obviously the report that has just come out. So I think that's a great suggestion that we will take up. So very good. All right. So if you have any housing questions, please don't worry. We're going to get to those on next week's program. All right. Thank you so much. Trying to get through some of your questions. So yes, Johan says, real talk. This man is getting things done. Solid job, Minister Jay. Thank you, Johan, for that. Anthony, good morning, sir. Says garbage is my pet peeve. Can you ask the minister the reason for removing the garbage receptacle at Starfish Point? The repurposed steel drums is not sufficient enough for the high volume beach. Every Sunday I go there and that place gets in a mess, not because the people are being nasty, but because the limited garbage space, the bins are all overfilled and the chickens are making a mess. Ugh, those chickens.
Well, let me thank Mr. Anthony for the question. First, the garbage bin that was there has been moved over to the larger public beach. What we were having at one point there too is an overrun, and I was getting calls all the time that we were having a heavy, I don't know what was causing so much flies to be on the public beach, and we had to get DH to go out there and spray the area a few times to try to mitigate and the risk of all of these flies, because people couldn't even open their lunch for flies coming around.
Oh, wow.
And then when we looked at that, and then we said, because of what happens is everyone was using the garbage bin, not just for the public beach use, but the landscapers were using it. Everyone in the neighborhood down there was using it. And then every single day the bin was getting full. They take the approach when they came, they said, hey, we need to do something about this bin because it's just overflowing. The Starfish public beach is one of the most heaviest used public beach, because if you think about how many individuals go and tourists go to Stingray City, usually their next destination stop is Starfish Point. So if you got at least 200-300 people moving in and out, going to that public beach per day, they took the approach that we're going to move the dumpster to the larger public beach where we had more room in that area. And that's why we added more team now. And if they check on it, Starfish Point is being cleaned regularly, almost on a daily basis now, because of the amount of garbage that we've been seeing going in there and because of the heavy use of it. So it's just like the 7 Mile Beach. It's a public beach that we have a lot of people utilizing. So what we did is we're extended more staff to be directly on the public beach to keep it clean. And we also did the same approach for Starfish Point, to be able to get to keep the place more cleaner. So if that doesn't work out, maybe yes, we need to look at another option. But the dumpster has been moved from one public beach just over less than a quarter mile to the next public beach, because it was the public beach at Starfish Point is very small, very tight, and having an overflow of dumpster dust does not look good when we got several hundred tourists and guests passing through, and we finally just got this flies under control. Thanks for the help of DH going out there spraying and I don't know what thing they put out there, if it's fly bait or what they do. But I do thank the team, because every time I called them about it, they went out, they responded, they got it under control. I was just there recently, and it seemed like everything was okay. If we do have a problem with dumpsters, bins getting overflown again, maybe we just need to have a team check on it during the weekends that we're emptying them, and maybe get a few more out there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that. While we're talking about public property and the beaches, I was just saying this yesterday, I think it was at least a year ago, might have been right before the FC government got in, but I did a poll, just an informal poll on our WhatsApp channel to see what people thought about public beach vending. And about 99%, I mean, it was a shocking number, I think, in terms of polls. It might be the single most, one-sided poll that we've ever done. But something like 99% of those who voted said that it's time to stop all commercial vending on public beach. Where are we now with this particular issue?
Well, Sandra, what I can tell you, that 99.9% that you did on your poll, if you add me to that, you'll probably get that 100% then. So that 1% that you're missing would, if you add me on there. I am a believer that we need to stop vending on the public beaches. It's getting out of control. And Sandra, it's something that I'm taking to the team to get the support of caucus and cabinet, that we look forward that we're going to have to move vending off of 7 Mile Beach. It's the number one complaint that I am hearing at every forum that I go to when it comes to the cruise lines, or if we're heading to something for ports. That is their number one complaint that we're hearing. And it's like, it's becoming something now that you can almost guarantee that you're going to hear it about the vending on the public beach. And it's becoming more of what I can tell you. One of the cruise lines members mentioned to me and the deputy premier, it's not becoming more of a vending, it's becoming more like a harassment to guests now, where people are being pulled to one side and being harassed to be able to get a chair from this one, or get or rent this from this one, or buy this from this one. So my approach is that now there's going to be people that probably don't agree with me, but again, and is it the right decision to be made? Yes, it is. Is it a tough decision to be made? Yes, it is. But again, that's why you're put in the seat, is to make the tough decisions, and not every decision that you make all the time is going to be the most popular decision you made, but it will be the right decision you made. And I'm here to make the right decision. And I do think listening to everyone and hearing the comments from the Cayman Islands, that I am 100% sure, as you just said, you did a poll that said 99.9% agreed that vending should not be on that beach. And I am agreeing with that also.
All right. Miss Marjorie says, I think Minister Jay works really hard, and good too. Thank you, sir. Miss Barbara said she keeps up by watching on her TV when she's overseas. Let me see here now. Inspection. I think Sophia is talking about inspection of rental places, because when they were in tower building on the waterfront, they used to do it. So now they stopped. A department where they start going back out to do inspection on these places. Did we ever have inspection? I think, Sophia, I'm reading your message correctly, but please correct me if I'm not. If you're talking about residential property, did we ever have inspections on residential property? Or is she talking about public beaches and access points?
I'm not sure if she's talking about residential property, Airbnb properties, or is she talking about the public beaches directly?
Yeah, maybe it was the public beaches.
Feel free what I
to-
can say is that we do inspections for Airbnb.
Yes,
We do inspections
for the hotels.
And we have an enforcement team that is out there. But the problem with our enforcement team is they just need a little bit more teeth in the legislation for them, which, as I mentioned earlier, I've tasked Ms. Hunter, P.S. Hunter, to work on that for me. So she's working on that to be able to deliver that for us, so that we can get more legislation in place, more powers to the enforcement team, to be able to hold individuals accountable out there, and a ticketable offense for individuals out there. So look forward for that coming shortly.
Okay. All right. Miss Anita said the poor little starfish would love a holiday from all the touching and handling. Miss Anita, recently when I was in Ecuador and I was talking about how they have very, very strict protocols in place about what you can and can't do. Even as we went on one of the islands that had the blue booby birds, and they had iguanas, seals, quite a number of birds there, the frigate birds with the red thing coming out of their throat. You couldn't even, there's certain areas that you couldn't even walk off the beaten path. The tour guide was like, no, you have to stay in this area. You can't walk over there to potentially interfere with any nesting or breeding or anything, or even getting close to. Although I got to tell you the truth, one of the iguanas almost gave me a heart attack. One of the baby iguanas ran by my feet. So they can go where they want on the island, but obviously, human beings that are walking on the island have to respect the pathways and respect the rules, and no touching, and you can take pictures, you can zoom in. When are we going to get serious about some of the environmental protections that we have? And I know that starfish, the starfish there at Starfish Point, that's always one that really gets to me, because everyone goes there and they want to touch them. Some are taking them out of the water, which we know is detrimental to the life of the starfish. But even touching them is something that you should not do. Take a picture, get an underwater casing for your cell phone. There are ways to work around getting these photo ops, but we have tour guides who don't care. They're allowing people to touch them. We have lack of proper signage. The signage is so long that nobody's going to read it. Mm-hmm. Can we improve on some of these things? Because honestly, if we want the starfish to continue to congregate in that area, we saw during COVID, their numbers increased when people were not around. But as soon as the people came back, yes, there's still some there, but they're not as healthy, and they're not as many. Mother Nature has a way to replenish itself and to heal itself once we stay out of its way, quite frankly. So can we start to see some of these enforcement elements put into place where the tour guides are held responsible for people taking starfish, out of the water if it's on one of their tours, where there's adequate signage at the location, where we don't have
what I would
to
say is that the tour guides should be guiding their guests in the proper way of handling starfish.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
how about not handle them at all?
Well, this would be something for the Minister of Environment to be able to look into.
Yeah.
Happy to pass that on to her so that
Mhm.
she can have her team look into it. I don't know if just touching a starfish, if it harms it, or if it's, I know definitely you should not take it
Yeah.
out of water. That's from what
Yeah.
I've been told. I'm no expert in the starfish field.
Yes.
But I'll put it on to the environmentalists that knows that field and see what they can do about it and how they can help improve it. On the question that Mr. Anthony has on the cameras, I guess, yes, that's something that we should be looking at. And I know Starfish Point has been recently covered with the new cameras that are going to be installed.
Mhm.
So that's been part of the one of the locations. And the Kaiba Public Beach, the closing, it's been closed down for at least 2 years, I would say, in the making. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster to get that project off the ground. But what I can say is we are there now. So the first time we went out to procurement, we had no one actually bid on the project. And then we had to come back and ask the question why. And then what we found out then basically is it was because of the materials that they had to procure to be able to get there. So what the government then went out then is we actually bought all of the boulders, the sand that was needed to build out the beach, what's needed out there. So if you're out there, you'll see where there's a lot of sand, a lot of boulders stockpiled, and if we went back out to procurement, there was at least 4 to 5 people I think ended up bidding on it. I understand that at least one individual has been selected on that, so movement should be starting works on that within the next couple of months here now.
Okay.
And finally, I could put that project to rest to say it's been completed.
Wonderful. All right. Mr. Amelia says we need PLC officers at Public Beach whenever ships are in. Hopefully it will help with all the drugs and alcohol sales. Do PLC officers have the power of arrests?
They don't have the enforcement power that they need. So
Right.
that's the part where we were talking about. There's been talks with the commissioner of whether we can enforce the PLC officers to be able to have that enforcement as a police officer. or there's an option where the commissioner is looking at another option where there's a police officer and he's I think at one point in time they called them tourism officers that they would put on the beach that would be able to have that powers to be able to keep some order on the beach.
Okay.
So we are looking at that, but we're trying to work at it out. So whichever one can work out in the legislation works. I'm happy to whichever way it goes with that. I just want to make sure that we have some type of enforcement on the public to make number one, make sure that individuals are going there, they're happy, they're safe, and they're getting a good response. That when they come back, they're saying that there is no not being harassed or hassled at the public beaches, not like how they go to other Caribbean islands.
Exactly. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Morning, Sandra. Good
Hi.
morning, Minister. Thanks. This is Debbie. I know that
Hi,
we've
Debbie.
had several conversations. Firstly, I want to give you kudos for the job that you're doing. I am very, very impressed with your performance thus far. So congratulations on that. But I do have a question, and I did actually pose it in the comment section. And I know that you and I had a personal conversation about this, but I'm still a bit convoluted as to the answer. Can you please explain to me one more time, and maybe the listening public, because this is definitely near and dear to my heart. Why is it that the Alpers continue to be able to have Guantanamo Bay cage, as we call it, on that dock? I know you tried to explain to me something about, I think the last time you spoke, that they pay some type of fee. Correct me if I'm wrong. And is there anything at this point that can be done for that Guantanamo Bay cage to be taken down? As you know, that was one of the protest things that we protested about. And in addition to that, they now are in total control of the public West Bay dock that was refurbished by the 4 MLAs from West Bay. And PC Parchment, she did a video when it was first refurbished, saying this is for the West Bay people. Sadly, that is not the case. They now are in total control of that. And there are many videos that are on social media that show that. Have they been spoken to? Have they been cautioned? I really would like to know. My pet peeve is the Alpers and what they have basically just been allowed or have the balls, should I say, to continue to just do what they want to do and without any repercussions, including the Guantanamo Bay cage and now the West Bay public dock, which is right beside it. Can you bring clarity to anything that I've just asked?
Miss Sandra, I am assuming she's talking about when she says Guantanamo Bay dock, she's talking about the dock next to Jefferson Beach. Is that the one that she's talking about?
It's the one Ministry Bank I spoke to you about. I met with you, and remember the riffraff protest?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember that protest? That they put up a cage and they referred to people as riffraff on their
I just want to clarify which dock you were talking about, that's all.
Yeah. So we had a private conversation about that. And you explained to me, I'm asking you now, is there any way that an enforcement can be done for them to take that cage down? But what you said, time, I just need you to tell that to me and the general public, because there are a lot of people that are still very upset about, including myself. And now to add insult to injury, they've taken over the West Bay public dock for their own, their own, I think they have a diving company, Indigo Divers. So that dock has the West Bay people they have no, they're not.
The minister has a hard stop in just a few minutes, so I'm going to let him answer the question and just ask you to listen on air. So thank you so much, Debbie.
So Sandra, let me start off with the individuals that are using the government dock for their diving purposes, as she mentioned, right? That's why we mentioned that we need to strengthen the law to be able to stop allowing commercial use on the docks. Now, once we get that strengthened up there where we can enforce this and make it a hefty fine for them, or maybe even it goes as far as buying a tow truck to be able to tow away some of these vehicles and put them in some kind of a pound where they have to pay to get their vehicles back if they're being used there for commercial use. But the dock next door, which has up the gate, that dock is a private owned dock. That's not a commercial dock. That dock does not belong to the government. That owner has the right to put a gate up on his dock, just as you go down into let's say if you go down into Governor's, is it Governor's Harbor, down there where the other boats are. Each one of those docks down in there has a gate up there that you stop individuals from going onto the dock. Only those that have a key that are renting one of those slits there. If you go to Kaibo dock also, you'll see that the same identical gate is at their dock where they lock it off at periods of times in the afternoon. And only individuals that are renting at the dock there can actually get access to the dock. So that is a private owned dock. What he should be doing is all of his commercial activity should be happening on his dock and not on the government dock. So we have to be mindful that they're paid to build this dock. They paid the royalty fees to Crown to build this dock. And that is a private dock, and they have that right to put up a fence up there or whatever she referenced it as the Guantanamo Bay fencing or something there. But I mean, we have other docks, private docks that are around the whole island that have done the same thing. That's been like this for years. But again, my biggest thing and my focus is that the enforcement side needs to be stiffened, penalties need to be strong, and the message has to be heard, right? And that's what I'm focusing on to make sure that we are holding individuals accountable that are going to be using. Now, I'm telling you, there are going to be Caymanians that are going to get caught in this situation also. So there's going to be a time where Caymanians use the dock for commercial use too, that are not supposed to be using the dock for commercial use. That's why we have places like Scott's. That's why we do have the yacht clubs for them, where you can utilize those areas for commercial activity. You go, you pay your fee, you rent a slit, and you can use it for commercial activity. You can't be using the government's docks for commercial activity. It was built for the people of the Cayman Islands that want to go out for fishing, want to just have a recreation day out with their families. That's what those docks are meant for. Launching ramps, if you're launching, there's certain size vessels that can be launched at these ramps. Need to adhere to that also, because the larger vessels are damaging the ramps also. And we have at least 2 or 3 ramps now that I know that we have to go back and do repairs to because of size vessels that have been utilizing these ramps and breaking the ramps because of the weight that they're on. So again, as I mentioned, I hope that answers the question for the lady. By no way mean did I divert around her question or anything like that. I don't want her to think that I'm not here to divert around any question. I give you my opinion. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay with me too. You know,
but the fact is they actually have their own private dock.
That's correct.
So I think there's some confusion there. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Minister, thank you so much. We know that your time was limited today. You've got some engagements that you need to get to. We'll give you an opportunity for some final remarks, and the questions that didn't get answered today, what we'll do is we'll screen grab those and share those with the ministerial team with a view to getting them next week when he's back on.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. As they always say, time does fly when you're having fun. I wish the rest of the day would go like that, but I can definitely tell you it's not. I got a lot of meetings scheduled for today, but I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come back on today, and then having this engagement with your hosts, with you, and then the guests. It's always a pleasure. Just want to say a big shout out to my individuals in Northside. Hello, thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve with you. Just want to big shout out to my constituency office, the ladies that are back there doing a lot of the hard work in Northside, keeping them in that part in order so that I am able to be able to represent the country at the top level here. Thank you for all the hard work that they do too. Thank you for listening on us, and looking forward next week to being on your show to continue the topics on the national housing issues. And maybe at some point, we do have new management at the national housing. So maybe at some point, maybe we bring him on so that he can talk about how he's going to be able to restructure, looking forward to restructuring national housing in the future.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much, Minister. That's the Honorable Jahani Ebanks in the House this morning, representative for Northside and Minister of PLAHI. I'm just going to use a shortened version of it. We appreciate you coming on the program, and we will hopefully see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, folks. Yes, thank you so much to the ministers who come on. And it's sometimes it can be a thankless job, but you know what? They're getting paid to do it. So I agree. And I'm so grateful for the members who have committed to doing the Ministry Matters segment, because, you know, it's not easy coming on here. There's no script in terms of what people are going to be asking you and what questions. That's why sometimes we have to kind of rejiggle it a little bit. Public beach access took up some time this morning, and obviously that was, I think, well worth it. The people wanted to discuss that. But we've got a lot to speak to the minister about. So next time we'll talk about housing, the National Housing Development Trust. We'll talk about what plans are in the pipeline for that. And we also need to talk about the East-West Arterial. So that might be a whole show by itself also. And, you know, of course, the ministers also do want to come on and talk about what initiatives they currently have underway within their respective areas of responsibility. So on Friday, we had the Minister of Education and Training, and he has multiple ministries. So he also has finance. And we heard some of the things about the baby bond and other things that are happening on the financial side. So, you know, we appreciate them committing to it. We've got, hopefully, Minister Kathy that will be coming on in due course as well. I think her team is still getting a bit more organized to be able to do that. And what other ministers have we got? We've got Minister Isaac. His team normally just comes on and do what they have to do, but we do need to sit down with him as well, because he has some areas of responsibility, such as NAU, which is now called Financial something assistance. I can't get used to the new name yet, but it will stick at some point. And so, we'll be talking to him as well. All right. So if you're just tuning in this morning, happy Thursday. Want to remind you guys that there is a warehouse fire off of Barnes Drive this morning that the fire service are dealing with. So, yes, we will have him back on for next week, Thursday. Someone says I need to go to Public Beach and do a segment from Public Beach. Lord have mercy. Here's a comment in relation to the whole Public Beach situation, which I think is rather interesting. Let me just pull this up here. Give me one quick second. All right. So this one says, good morning. 90% of the vendors are not even Caymanian. The aggressive behavior is imported. Well, I don't know how we have non-Caymanian vendors on our public beaches. What the heck? That means they must be married to Caymanian or have some kind of status, but I understand the point. And once again, tourists have often commented over the years that they really enjoyed that in the Cayman Islands, they don't get haggled and harassed. I got to stir up my tea a little bit. They don't get harassed like they do in other jurisdictions. And that's one of the things that they've always appreciated about the Cayman Islands. So let's not change that, folks. Let's not change that. Come on now. Keep our high standards. Not sure if government has its own towing company. They don't, but if they should, if not. And whenever vehicles are illegally or selfishly parked, like parking on the ramps, the vehicles are towed and a hefty fine is levied to free the vehicle. People don't learn otherwise, says Blackberry. Interesting suggestion, but I don't think government has a towing vehicle, just like they don't have an impound area. But like anything else, they can call one of the private towing vehicles, and then in order to get the vehicle released, the owner would have to pay for it. But then again, years ago, they removed that whole towing. Remember how you used to be able to clap people and have them towed? They removed the legislation, or they put legislation in place to prevent that from happening. So Johan says, how is the Cuban dude on political asylum that is consistently a nuisance to Cayman, free to disrespect our country, RCIPS immigration, GAB staff, and not deported, but Auntie Sandy gets militant because I asked a relevant question and made a key assessment. Oh my God, that then end up in CMR jail. Libertat, hashtag we need justice. Well, two things can be true at the same time, Johan. So I absolutely agree with you that the Cuban guy needs to leave the Cayman Islands. We will all buy him a one-way ticket back to Cuba. However, at the end of the day, you know, we know that he's breaking all sorts of laws, to be quite frank, and he needs to go. But, you know, the government has their processes. So he does have a political asylum. I know that it's subject to review, and no doubt when his is up for review, I hope and pray to God that they are reviewing it with a fine-tooth comb, because the dude has commandeered a Panamanian vessel. I mean, he's done so much that you think would be more than sufficient reason to get him off of our little rocks that we call the Cayman Islands, right? And in fact, quite interestingly enough, just last night, someone was sending me documentation to prove that he's actually breaking other laws as well. Go figure. I'm just like, the dude has no respect for the Cayman Islands. So none of it, quite frankly, surprises me. What I do think is, obviously, at the end of the day, because he has political asylum, they have to go through whatever process of reviewing it to remove his rights to that. And I'm sure that that is considered a very, very serious exercise. Just having a look at my other monitor over here. So given the graveness of that, we still hold on to hope that they can remove that from him and send his backside right back to Cuba. I honestly do not believe I don't even know how he supported his political asylum application, but I don't really believe that he was a victim, because again, some people, once they present themselves to you and you know who they are, you can figure it out, right? If this dude was engaging in this kind of behavior in Cuba, let me just tell you that he would probably have had some consequences as a result of that. So how he made it all the way here and then was able to claim political asylum, only God really knows. Nonetheless, comparing that to your situation, Johan, is it makes me chuckle, because the two are not. Then he says, what's the new call-in number? The two are not the same at all. Okay. So what you did to get blocked after multiple warnings has nothing to do with the Cuban guy. The Cuban guy needs to go. No two ways about it. Just like you deserve to be blocked. You had multiple warnings. So you're not really, your argument is full of holes. And so unfortunately for you, that's not going to really bode too well. Who will be monitoring these cameras, said Mr. Amelia. There's a camera at the top of Macfield Lane where drugs are being sold like candy. What a hot mess. I mean, they have a 911 communications division, and I think that normally all those cameras fall under their legal responsibility. All right, someone says Johan does know if you had the powers, the Cuban degenerate would be gone. Hello. Oh, this reminds me. Can we do a big shout out to Kyle Solomon? He made me chuckle yesterday because we did put up the video about the Cuban guy and asked the question, like, he is such a menace to society. It is time for him to go. Now, Kyle is ever the comedian. He is just so funny. So he took one of my photos. I got to show you this because this is really funny. He took one of my photos and thanks to the powers of AI, he made me into an ICE agent. Look at that. You should have tweaked it a little bit though, because I don't think an ICE agent has all of those badges, you know, the one around the neck, then the one on the side, then the patch on the arm. So this got a lot of feedback, and people just thought it was so funny. And I think it's funny too. It's hilarious. And it actually looks pretty good. I mean, hey, I'm a good looking ICE agent. But I told him he should have made it CBC because this is the Cayman Islands. I could be a CBC agent. But yeah, hello. Of course, if I had the power to, and then he captioned it, it's time. Of course, if I had the power to get rid of the Cuban guy and Larry and all these other menace to society, you better believe that I could do this. So you guys saw the latest one with the Cuban guy where he's harassing our police officers now. And he went into, I couldn't quite make out, was he in the government building or was he actually at the police station? I think he was at the new police station. Looks really nice, by the way. So I think he was at the police station, I guess. I don't even know what this dude is doing, but he is so disgusting. Like, honestly, I'm so sick and tired of him. I am really, really sick and tired of him. So yes, let's make no, let's not, you know, cut to the chase. If I had the power to get rid of him, just like I had the power to block you, listen to this segue. Just like how I had the power to block you, if I had any powers around this guy, you better believe I would be exercising those powers. Hello. If I would kick him one good boot right out of the Cayman Islands, oh my God. He is just, the dude has issues. Like I have to wonder about his mental health because, you know, come on. But, you know, I think it's really, a lot of it is he has too much time on his hands. Nobody wants to hire him because of how he goes on. And he is just hell-bent on making a public scene every single where that he goes. And I know what he does because he's actually done it to me. I've been a victim of his behavior. You know, I was minding my own business one day in A.L. Thompson's, and this idiot walked up to me and started doing the exact same thing. And I was like, what the hell? And the poor security guards, they looked like they were at a loss for what to do. I mean, he was getting very, very aggressive with me in my face. And I can tell you what, I had went in there quite ironically enough to buy a box cutter. And there was a moment in time when I was beginning to feel threatened by this man. And I said to the security guard, listen to me now. I have a right to defend myself. And if this man continues to come in my face and make me feel threatened, if I have to use this box cutter in self-defense to get him to back up, I will certainly do so. So you guys better take control of the situation and do your jobs as security officers. But he does this. He's an agitator. He loves engaging in this kind of behavior. It is just so disgusting. You have to have a lot of patience to deal with this guy. And I noticed that every single time you know, he goes off on one of his rants, what he does is he posts it on, you know, his social media page. He's got some page where he posts all this foolishness. And of course, he gets all up in his feelings when we call him to account. So the fact that we're talking about him this morning, he'll be posting all kind of stuff about us. Trust me. You know, he said something, someone showed me a post. He posted up, oh, you know, the minister shouldn't go on your show. I was like, who are you? Who exactly are you to talk about what should and shouldn't happen in this country? Like, dude, you are so disrespectful. So he's always posting up about me. He posted something yesterday and he had like all of 4 people like it. Yay. And he keeps going back to an article back in 2021 where there was a jewelry store robbery. I don't think they ever even arrested anyone for that. But there was a question about whether or not some of the Cuban migrants were involved in that. And he seems to really be hung up on that. So every single time he mentions my name, oh, she was accusing us. And I said, well, in the title, as you can see, there's a question mark there. He doesn't seem to be incredibly bright either. But I said there was a question mark there. And there was a question in relation to whether or not, here he is. This is him posting stuff about me and telling Ralston that he must not come on my show. I mean, you read this narrative and he's just so crazy. He says, neither Sandra nor her ignorant followers decide the fate of Javier and his family. Like I said, you're lucky that we don't, because trust and believe you would not be here. But I think if this government, when I say this government, I mean the DG's office and the committee that gives this man political asylum, if they are serious, they have had more than enough reasons upon review of his application to actually strip his political asylum from him. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. He breaks the law all the time, working without a permit, which he's not allowed to do. It just goes on and on and on and on. The list is very, very long. He's not allowed to be self-employed. He can't get a business license, and he's still out there doing that type of work in the community and posting it all over social media because he simply doesn't care. And there's never been any real accountability for him. Having said that, someone did say that he's in court this week for disorderly conduct, finally, and I'm sure he'll get a conviction for that. And when he does, that's another check mark so that when they go back to reviewing his application, he needs to get out of here. So he, of course, calls our followers ignorant, and then talking about playing with the dignity and innocence of the men and women who live here. Like he has any dignity. Have you ever seen anybody with dignity carry on like how this man carries on? I mean, I don't know what his definition of dignity is. I mean, maybe, he has a different definition. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that what he does do this is not dignity.
Así mi gente linda, que vamos llegando al edificio del gobierno. Ayer tuvimos un confrontamiento con los funcionarios públicos que ellos quieren ofender, quieren maltratar, quieren humillar a uno y piensan que uno tiene que quedarse callado.
And people are asking, apparently he's trying to apply for naturalization. So people are asking, how is this guy, all of this recording in a government building, this kind of behavior is not even allowed. How does he get away with it?
How may I assist?
Hello, good morning, my lady. Chana.
Yes, sir.
Hello, lady. I am Javier. My name is Javier. I come yesterday for some answer about the Department BODC about my naturalization, but Department BODC no answer any question. You think you can give me? I applied for my naturalization 1 year already.
Okay, my understanding is he's not even eligible for naturalization. So you can apply. I mean, just like I could apply for anything. You can apply for anything. But I've been told that he's not even eligible for naturalization, but he just applies and thinks that, they must approve it. Dude, really? So I guess he's not getting the answers that he wants. And so this is why he keeps harassing these people. He walks around this file cabinet in his hand with all of him and his messy papers. Can't even have them properly organized. I mean, what a mess.
You think you can give me any information about my naturalization, please?
Yes, Mr. Javier. Yesterday, I did provide you with the information, and you spoke to the officer, and he said that you requested for our office to email you the information, which was done. I can confirm the email address to you, but we honored your request and emailed you a letter stating what is going on with your application.
I give you any information that BOTC department need. And I have a message, I have a Gmail in my phone say that my process is in the line. Now, is the law, the UK law I use for apply for my naturalization on this island. It's 1 year is the limit. Now, I send your department my new Gmail. You have all the information you need for contact me. Now, you think it's possible, my lady? You can send me the information here now.
Yes, sir, I did it. I sent it yesterday as per your.
But what Gmail? Because I checked my email. I don't see any message.
Okay.
Miss. Lady, they don't want to give me any information. I need to contact the person for give me this information. You don't come.
Give me the
My
information.
process and no, give me.
What is it about? There's certain accents in English. I mean, obviously he's speaking English, but there's certain accents in English that when people are speaking, it grates my nerve. Somebody mentioned him and Bia. It was Bia from Cuba as well. I'm trying to remember where she was from. She was Cuban as well. There's something about when they learn how to speak English, and I don't know that it's all Cubans, because I'm trying to think. I mean, we have some family members, but I haven't really communicated with them in English. But there's something about when they try to speak English, they come across very, very aggressive. Or maybe that's just them. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. But Anthony picked up on it. He says it's got to be something in that Cuban water. Bia and Javier, they're discussing. That's why they need socialist rule, too much out of control. I mean, you got to wonder, with the level of aggression that they do show, that maybe that's why Fidel and his boys had to kind of try to keep them in control, right? Because, I mean, geez, and peace. The way that they go on in other people's country is shocking. Roar says, boy, he is really feeling entitled. I know if they grant that, we really gone to ish around, yeah. Believe me, it's crazy. Paul Sandy, should he be allowed to apply for status/naturalization? Let me just verify, because I think that that's the problem, is he's never going to get it. He can apply, like nobody can't stop you from, that's like you saying, you know, I can go apply for work permit for my dog, right? That doesn't mean that WRC is going to grant it. So they can't stop you from wasting your time. Even Ms. Brenda's like, naturalization, say what? Lady D says, wow, ignorant followers. Does he understand that your followers are Caymanian as well? This goes to say, want all that Cayman has to have to offer, but have absolutely no respect for the privilege he gets. Oh, he is the most ungrateful person. Him and Lovell are definitely at the top of the ungrateful list. As Brenda says, he needs to be gone. He's not stateless. Send him back to his home. Why does he want to be here if here is so bad? It's a good question.
More information. I pay for this process. Somebody come here and give me.
Get your voice down, okay, and come and talk to
Yes,
Yes.
no, sir, I don't do nothing here.
Okay, you are doing something because people have called the police, so come and talk to
Yes, sir, you can talk here, sir. I can talk here and I don't have any problem.
Listen to me.
Yes,
I
sir.
will talk to you, but I am not.
Yes.
I will talk to you and I will talk to you fine, but you're causing a disturbance. In the
I don't do
building,
nothing
so
here
you come
in this
outside.
place. And you come for investigate and do your work, sir. If these people call and say I do something back here, you police and
I will
it's
talk
your,
to you
it's your work.
outside. You see the door there?
I do any bad here, sir. I broke the law.
No. All right.
I
am not.
it may not broke the law. I want to talk.
In the government building.
We can talk slow and this part here. Come.
Outside.
No, sir. You don't can push me outside. This is a public building, sir.
He is telling people, listen to him. He's telling the police officer how this can go. Right? We're going to have the conversation here. This is a public building. Actually, it's not. It is owned by the government of the Cayman Islands. right? And it is open by invitation. You see, these people, both him and Lavelle, seem to think that they know, because she did a video the other day about, claiming that she knows so much about the law. Of course, he shared her video because she's stark crazy, just like him, about how much she knows about the law and this and that. And I'm just like, these people have a sense of entitlement, first of all, that's shocking. And secondly, their understanding of the legal framework, which they purport to know so much about, right? Oh, human rights. Everything is human rights. You look at them crossways, you're oh, that's against my human rights. They lack understanding, and they want to be these advocates for only God knows what or who they're trying to advocate for. In my opinion, it's just absolute ridiculousness. But they claim that they're advocates for human rights and for people and this and that. And the great thing about social media is it gives everybody a platform. Everybody. So it gives me a platform. It gives them a platform, and I'm all for free speech and people being able to have their opinions and whatever, but not just because somebody has access to the platform means that what they're saying is true, that what they're saying is accurate, or that they have any sense whatsoever. And we have to remember that. Now, I know that people love a train wreck, and people are always sending me, the videos of her for sure. And even, this guy here, Javier, yesterday I got his video a number of times, but I'm just like, just because they have access, he can record it and he can put it up, and, everybody can now see how crazy he is. That's all he's showing them, right? But he thinks that he knows, oh, this is a public, no. It's actually owned by government. Just like government can say public beaches, owned by government, this is what the rules are in terms of utilizing those beaches. The same thing with a public building. You can be banned from accessing a government building, right? They can say that, no, you're not going to come in this building again. In my opinion, that's what they need to do with Javier, because he has demonstrated time and time again that every single time he goes into one of these buildings, he is not going to play by the rules. He's going to be disruptive. He's going to be recording. Nobody else would be able to record like how this man is permitted to go into a government building and record. But he does it all the time. He does it with our CBC officers. He has done it with WORC. Now he is here in the main government building doing it again. And I suspect that's why the officer is trying to get him to go outside, and he is refusing to do so. So let's continue to listen to this train wreck.
You want to arrest me, sir?
No.
I don't have any problem. You need reason for arrest me. Now, you go and do your work, sir. I don't do nothing but here. You need to investigate
You need to calm down.
I'm calm down,
All right?
sir.
You are not calm.
Yes, sir. I don't calm down.
I will speak to you outside
Why?
the building.
What reason I want to
Because we
go?
are not going to disturb the government building.
I don't
okay?
and
And that is what is happening. So come outside with us.
We can sit down there and talk there, sir.
We can talk outside.
Why outside? You tell me I do something bad here?
I've told you several times why outside.
It's not like that, sir.
Okay.
You need to give me a reason why you want me to go outside. I do
Look
something
at me.
bad here.
I am telling you
Yeah,
the
I
reason.
look at you, sir.
Okay, I am telling you
It's-
the reason.
it's-
And I will tell your video or your live feed
It's
or
my right
whatever it
path
is,
video
okay?
for my protection.
are
You
welcome
have
to
your camera
record,
too.
And you can come outside and talk to us.
Okay, good. I not do nothing but here. I come in for information. Let me show you something.
Let's come outside.
Let me do this because this is my right. This is my. Excuse me, please. This is my person. Okay. This is all. This is my.
So he doesn't understand the concept of he is disrupting the business. He's disrupting other people. Like, it's just so incredibly shocking what's going on here. Irvin says he needs to go. He's too annoying and disgusting. He's a troublemaker. No wonder Castro treats him the way that he does. Be something couldn't do that in Cuba because they couldn't do that in Cuba. Real deal, says Sandra, if you have to defend yourself against the Cuban pests, the police and the DPP would have went to all lengths to prosecute you and make the Cuban the victim. I hope you know, right? Anthony says we all need to collectively report his page and get it shut down. Can we do that today, K-Man? The thing about it, Anthony, is he keeps putting pages up because I think this is not his first page. So every time, I guess, I don't know if Facebook took down the other ones or what was going on, but I do know for a fact that he puts other pages up. So it's just, Trisha says he's looking attention. I don't get it. You have no say in your own country than a canister a beaten, a lockup, or a shot and come to the beautiful Cayman Islands with this. Because again, he's a traditional narcissist. When they don't get their way, they are all up in their feelings. And this is how he's been going on.
For stay in this place now.
Sir,
Yes.
I will have a polite discussion with you outside the
I don't
front
have
door.
any discussion, sir. I am coming here for.
And by the way,
You are creating
I
disturbance.
come in
You
yesterday
can
and
deny-
big shout out to, we're going to get back to that video here in a second, but big shout out to the RCIPS officers who really maintained their composure, right? I think that they did a wonderful job here. So let's go ahead and take a call this morning. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy.
Morning, dear.
Listening to that conversation with the police, I am saying that, listen, we as Caymanians, we need to, there are things that we can do that the authorities can't do. Listen, if that man was in a government building in Jamaica behaving like that, I know that a couple guys would just lift him and throw him outside. We would just tell, I would just tell a police officer, just go up to your office or something. Because you understand, don't want him to witness it. And we just throw him out. And this is the thing with a lot of people who talk about, democracy. These people were not born and grown in a democratic society. Democracy cannot work for them. They have to be ruled with a big stick.
Yeah.
You cannot come into my country and we are trying to allow you certain things and you are demanding.
Yep.
Just imagine one of our citizens go to Cuba and go in
you would dare not
and behave like that. No, they would be lost in a prison. So we need, listen, we as citizens, we need to start to take back this island by not relying solely on the police to do things. As long as we are doing it within the law, not injuring, not hurting, not assaulting anyone. But we need to do things like that. We can't just, you sit down, you're in our government building and you are recording this sort of behavior. It hurts me.
And I mean, unfortunately, the way that the system works is, quite frankly, if we tried to do anything with him, even if you touch him, that in and of itself could be considered an offense. So this is where the powers of citizens to get involved is very, very limited. Like I said on yesterday's program, you don't even have to touch someone for it to be an arrestable offense. So leave me there with those comments. We got another caller calling in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning.
First of all, disclaimer, I come from a place of complete ignorance on how these matters are handled internationally. But couldn't our government just take an executive decision and deport these persona non grata people and then just face the consequences? Like, sometimes you just make decisions in life that you're like, you know what? To hell with it. I know there are going to be repercussions, but they will be worth eliminating this particular issue in my life. So therefore, I am willing to take on whatever battle lies before me should I do this. And I think that's just kind of at the point where we're at, especially with these particular two people.
Yeah.
That's just my sense.
I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much. And quite frankly, yes, I think we're all fed up. We're all done here. So I could totally understand why. I don't know. It's a good question. I will ask the authorities. What's the process of getting rid of him? So, yeah, Lord have mercy. Hello. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Sandy and Cayman peeps. How are we doing today?
Morning, honey child. How you doing?
Not bad at all. So you know me, I has good and I has bad, and I'm wanting to be devil advocate today. Why he still there? Get it like what the Caymanians do. What he still doing there? Why he asylum of all asylums, the longest to grant him? Miss Sandy, it comes a time and you see, in a sense, I got upset Cayman people this morning. That want to get. That want to get. As Caymanians, that what we get. Because the behaviors that are displayed, Miss Sandy, it cannot be displayed nowhere else. It cannot. I'm telling you, in our government franchise, are we serious? Come on. I Caymanian went up there. Even, the police wouldn't even think twice dragging us out of there. Make us as Caymanian go up and they go play the fool. You see? If they not done call auntie, uncle, cousin for us who must come chat to us because we this and we that and we got to walk with our head held down because even family upset with us to go out there and display such a behavior. No, he not got none of that day, He not got none of that day. Nothing to hold your head down. It is so funny that our Cayman kind gone to Cayman abuse. And no Cayman kind no more. It's Cayman abuse. They're abusing us as Caymanian and then nothing we can do, nothing but just run our mouth. Where our elective members them is, these are the simple things that starts in our country before it get big. They come in and then they see him as a foreigner behaving. So what example we setting? So many more to come out and behave like that. But hold on now. Let them know, that every Caymanian with it, because we done outnumber Lydia, so we frustrated, we have a house and job and all them kind of things, and we getting very frustrated, the government not looking, they're not paying attention, the passiveness got run out, it got run out, Miss Sandy. I'm telling you, I am very upset by that video, very upset, because our people cannot try it, much less do it. But then him, and it not today or yesterday, how much money he done cost us already? Why is he there?
Exactly.
Why is he there? How much money he done cost us?
Yeah.
Our own Caymanians don't cost us that amount of money. What are we really doing? We don't need the protesting in the street is not lick him down flat. They don't want to hear that, no. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
We need to be kind and understanding that gone all over the world.
Listen to me. I was reflecting on Miss Brenda says that aggression, they couldn't display that behavior in Cuba. That's pent up anger. When they leave Cuba, they're spewing pure condensation and hatred towards everyone. I was thinking if he went, let's stick a pin in Cuba because obviously that's supposed to be a communist country, but he couldn't even go to Jamaica and do that. You don't see what a police officer did this weekend to that woman? She was in her vehicle, right? I don't know if you guys saw this or not. The woman was in her vehicle, didn't even get out. All she said was, a couple BBC words. If y'all don't move out the way, because I think they were protesting or something, that she was going to run her vehicle into them. The man shot one shot in her vehicle and killed her, bam, on the spot. So I'm not saying that that's right because I don't think that that's right. However, what I'm saying is other places in the world, including the big United States of America, if he was in Minnesota, they would have shot him. He wouldn't be protesting and carrying on the way that he has been able to do so in this country. You can imagine, stick a pin for 1 second, right? You can imagine that when they commandeered that Panamanian ship, his own daughter, she was, a toddler, barely. I don't even know she was 2 years old yet. Came down with a very high fever and almost died because of his negligence. The Panamanian authorities said to the RCIPS, this is what I understand, to the Cayman Islands government, listen, this ship was supposed to go through the Panama Canal. Because of these Cuban nationals commandeering the ship, we have not been able to do so. We've lost over $100,000, right? We're going to go in now after days of this happening. We're going to go in and take that ship back by force. Our soft-hearted government. No, you can't do that because the vessels in Cayman waters, you know what them Panamanian people said? They said, look here, turn on your radio in the background for me. They said, listen, we will take the ship. They thought, okay, y'all think Cayman think they bright. We will take the ship out into international waters. That's easy for us to do. We're in control of the vessel. You're not. We'll take it back out into international waters and do what we got to do. Our government understood what that meant. Because if the military came in and stormed that ship, every single one of them would have been dead. Listen to me carefully, right? Every single one of them would have been dead. Okay? So our government, I mean, say what you want to say about them, but they didn't want blood in anybody's hands. So they said, no, leave it to us. And that's why they went in that night. They went in with their force. RCIPS went in and they were able to take them off the vessel. Because the people, their lives were threatened. The crew on that vessel, they said they will never stop and pick up people because remember, they were on their way out of here trying to get to Mexico, whatever. They said they will never stop and pick up anybody again. That was a humanitarian act. And these people, Javier and his crew, made them regret being good Samaritans and stopping. They said never again will they do it.
Well, Kim, I need to start being good Samaritans.
Here's the best part. When they come off of that ship, why didn't Javier go to jail for what he did on that Panamanian ship? He should still be in jail right now for that. And I do not understand between the police, the RCIPS, and the DPP's office, how he was not charged. You go out here and you spit on the sidewalk and we getting arrested and charged, right? I speak the truth in my program and I'm getting arrested and charged and wasting the public purse every single time the judge is throwing it out. But yet this man could by force hold people hostage. I mean, there would have been so many charges coming out of that. Holding someone hostage is an offense, right? Commandeering a ship that you do not own is an offense. Threatening all those people, that was an offense. Why didn't they charge this man?
And again, Miss Sunday, I'm here to upset the whole Cayman Islands. What we get. He did all of that. So how much more do you think he'll do? How much more do we think he's going to do? If he did all of that and get rid, you didn't even put in the money it cost us, no? Nobody not talk about that.
Oh, hello.
The money that it cost us.
Stick a pin. Because all now I can't get the details on what our government had to pay. Because, you know, like I said, once you miss, like you have a time slot to get through the canal. If you miss that, you heavily fined. You know that our government had to pay that. And now we can't hear how much that cost us. That should be passed on to Javier. Not that he got a pot to piss in, but I'm just saying that should have been passed on to him. Talking about he won naturalization. He should never be able to get another piece of paper in this country. And what he does have, they better be compiling one hell of a file to get rid of him under political asylum. Straight. Well, we got to stop playing around with this man.
No, it's okay. One late night here, they lick down. Cayman, listen, we all want to sit down in Cayman. Is a nice place in Cayman. When Caymanians get angry, things happening. You can't solve it. It cannot be solved. We are tired of this stupidity. And this stupidity is lowering a lot more to our shores. His stupidity is doing it. That's what it is. And about no one come Cayman and do this and all I'm come there with it. Immigration reform better start reforming because there's a lot cleaning up going on. Of course, on the jump on the marriages and all that type of stuff, I get that. But what happened to him? What happened to the asylum seekers? Their paperwork needs to be reviewed. These years back laws of taking asylum people need to be reviewed as well.
Now, to government's credit, let me say this, to government's credit, I do know for a fact that I think it was back in 2023, the government did, and France Manderson, his team led this, they did actually amend the asylum legislation. Because before there was no review of asylum, we had people here coming and getting political asylum, and then they would stay here for donkey years, and then they were back and forth to Cuba. And it's like, what the hell you need political asylum for if you can come in and out of Cuba with no problems? Clearly, that means that you not got no fear of going into Cuba.
But
so they've been abusing the system a long time.
But correct me if I'm wrong. When you seek asylum from a country, you cannot go back to that country.
That was the point. Because how can you logically say that you're going to be prosecuted or persecuted in your country because you're a political dissident or whatever argument they would have used, right? How can you make that argument to get political asylum, and then as soon as you get it, you running back and forth between Cayman and Cuba? Hey, don't make no sense.
They didn't want no asylum.
They just wanted that to be able to stay. Yeah, they just want to be able to stay here.
No, they say them Caymanians not got no sense. Make me go up there and show them they not got no sense. And that way he did, he come show he people, we not got no sense. And that way he on them videos and displaying our immigration department and thing. Because he want the rest of people, them rest of Cuba, them see, they not got no sense down there. Tell Cayman keep sitting down and because we want pretty things, not pretty.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to get angry, and I'm very angry because guess what? I done all enough, but my people them need come enjoy it too. So if we got him there, and how my children are enjoy, not only that he disrespecting our government official buildings and the staff, but he's also cost us so much millions with this ship, putting his own family and his own child at risk. And we don't have no member in the government official that say enough is enough. Let's make him be the first example. And I just don't get it, Miss Sandy, and that's the part for me. I just do not get it. The minute Cayman make one example, they got rid of Canova. They didn't think twice about Canova, did they? They didn't think. But you see, this is the thing. This brother did, and we still putting up with this brother, but we get rid of Canova.
But hold on. Now, I want to be fair. There is a difference here. So Canova had status, right? And he also has multiple convictions, right? This guy has political asylum, which is a different way to stay in Cayman, and he does not have status, and he has never been convicted of anything. That is why we needed to take the opportunity when he did what he did with that ship to put his backside in jail and get a conviction. Because what he did was legally wrong. It was multiple criminal acts. And we would be in a better position today had we done the right thing at that time. Ask the police and the DPP's office why they never acted. Because they got time and energy for a lot of other people. But you see how the system starts to fail us, right? At critical junctions, the system is failing us. And when you do not act, when you should have acted, they can't go back now and do anything about it. That's the problem. And so technically he can sit back and say, well, I'm not a criminal. I don't have any convictions, but yet he's constantly protesting. He's harassing people. He's doing the most and embarrassing the government of the Cayman Islands, being on government steps. I mean, I can't believe between him and Lovell, they have had more protests on Cayman streets and government steps than Caymanians themselves. And it's ridiculous. Leave me there, caller.
Thank you, Miss Sandy. Bye-bye.
Somebody was asking about the other Cuban that we used to have, Dr. Luarca, remember him? Who used to be supposedly in a hunger strike. Well, I never seen nobody no hunger strike and not lose one single ounce of weight. At night, he was sneaking food. But I actually heard that Dr. Luarca died during COVID, that he got the COVID and died during that time. So he's no longer with us. But he was another Cuban nuisance. You know, they come here with their attitude and their ill behavior. Somebody said them and the people from DR really got stinking attitudes. And I said, well, look here now. Here's the thing. Even the people from DR, they, again, because his wife just happens to be Dominican, they got some nerves too. I mean, listen, I don't really give two shits where you're from. When you come here, you're going to have to respect our laws and our people and our customs and our way of doing things. And if you cannot, the airport is right there. But the thing about this, and this goes now when it comes to his case about political asylum, the thing about this is he has a choice. He doesn't have to go back to Cuba. So someone said that he must have made up his thing on the application. They must have been rubber stamping them, right? I don't know how he got political. Somebody says, I'm convinced that at one point the Cayman Islands was rubber stamping those political asylums. Someone soon boxed the F out of him. Does this idiot know he can't bully the UK government to make him a naturalized citizen? He's a effing dumb. He is effing dumb. Cubans and Dominicans have a high level of entitlement. Well, guess what? His wife is Dominican. She's from the DR. He can go there and live his best, most beautiful life ever and try doing that in their country. And that will be their business and none of our concern. So when they take his political asylum from him, I want them to keep in mind that he now has, because he's married to a Dominican woman, he now has an option to go somewhere else. So his argument about right to family life safely in the Cayman Islands because of political asylum, no, Bobo. You can go to DR and have a right to family life right there with her as well. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. By the way, I'm putting you in CMR jail.
Oh gosh.
You said a word at exactly 9:30 that you shouldn't have said.
Oh no. No. Hold on.
I was watching the clock. Anyway,
but I can tell you. It's 9:20. No. It's 9:29 that we disconnected.
I'm pulling your toes. Come on.
Oh.
Anyway, Sandra, this morning I've called to ask a question. All right? Me, when this whole fiasco took place with this individual,
and the boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I wasn't in Cayman for a while, and I actually watched the news. But what I want to know, if you do know, please, was he already given asylum at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
So under what skirt? And I'm not being facetious or umbrella, whichever word you prefer. Was he given asylum? Because I was always of the impression that these Cubans were only given asylum when they had Caymanian roots.
No. No, that's not true.
No?
So political asylum doesn't have anything to do with Caymanian connections at all. They have to make an argument because again, political asylum has a very narrow definition. That's why the other day there was some people sending me stuff saying, oh, there's a family here with a child and they didn't get it and they were so upset about it and they wanted me to speak up. And I said, no, I can't speak up about this because you have to understand what the law says and how political asylum works. They're like, oh, they don't cause any trouble here. And I said, well, you shouldn't be causing any trouble here. They contribute. They're not really contributing, but whatever. People have to understand how this works. You could be a good person from Cuba and all these other things. And yes, sending you back means, they said one of the children has special needs and they're not gonna be able to get milk in Cuba or this or that. And they can't eat. I said, listen, setting all of that aside, because that has nothing to do with political asylum. Political asylum, the very definition of what that means and what you have to prove is that you are of a particular type of person that would be politically prosecuted because of your beliefs in Cuba. So I don't know what he put in his application to get approved, but obviously he had a successful application, right? So he was approved for political asylum. Now,
I'm no lawyer, but common sense would allow me to think that when political asylum is granted, it must be granted with some conditions. And he definitely falls under the category of an undesirable. So if he was, obviously he's been granted asylum, with all of his behaviors,
yes. Can you believe? Let me tell you how simple. Let me tell you how simple our people are, Miss Brenda. Can you believe until recently, and I'm trying to find the changes because there are more changes, right? And it was really, we had discussed these things on the show, that up until just a couple of years ago, you could get political asylum in the Cayman Islands, and it was like a lifetime appointment, right? There was no review in law. There was really no way to take it. Nothing. They had to amend the legislation. Like I said, I want to say it was about 2003 when this happened, but they actually had to amend the legislation in order to put these things in because literally there were people who were getting asylum and going back to Cuba. And it's like, wait a minute, you made an application that you can't live in Cuba because you will be prosecuted or persecuted by the government of Cuba. So the second you get political asylum, all of a sudden you can freely go into the country. How does that work? That don't make no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And again, it makes me wonder. But first of all, everybody that leaves Cuba, even for the same reason. So it don't matter what they put on that application. They have left for one reason only. They want to be out of Cuba. And really, they don't want to be here. They want to get to Miami.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a special case. And My thinking on this whole thing is this is a matter the cabinet needs to sit down and look at every aspect of it. Their hands should not be restrained now to deal with him. He, like I said, if it's for nothing more, he is an undesirable. Our Constitution and our laws allow us to act just on those grounds. And perhaps he don't have a desire to go on to the US. Maybe his desire is to go to the UK. So I think they really need to take a closer look at him. And he has no roots here. He has a country. His wife has a country. So why is he going to her country then?
Exactly.
For asylum? And I will say this. If he, I don't know when he got asylum, but I will say if he got it, then every Cuban should get it. Because clearly if they could give it to him, and as you said, with his behavior with that Panamanian ship, the money that he cost this country, almost cost the life of his own child, if that's not grounds to take it back, then you what? Tell me what else he needs to do. And what I blame that Panamanian ship for, and that I have never been able to figure out. Why did they bring him to Cayman? Cuba is just next door. They're Cuban nationals. What you bring them to our shores for to land this problem on us? I don't care where you wanted to go.
Well, I don't know. I think, I don't know exactly where they were found in what waters, but I think that we would have been the closest country.
Cuba is
and
from us.
No,
So
but
listen, if they were coming from where I understand they were coming from, which was some ways west of, it would have been west of Cuba, somewhere off there by Mexico. So they had to pass Cuba to get
No. Let's back up. No, let's back up a second here. The 13, right? So it was a child and then 12 others. They were all in Cayman. So I suspect that when that Panamanian vessel picked them up, right, they were trying to leave here to get to Mexico. When the Panamanian vessel picked them up, they were probably either still very close to Cayman waters, like, barely international waters. So we were still the closest point. And also keep in mind that they don't have any travel documents. So when they travel, these Panamanian people can't make the assumption that they're Cubans, right? They might have said to them, I don't know exactly what conversation they had. They might have said, we're trying to get to from Cayman to Mexico. So they're going to return them back to where they're coming from. So they were not coming from Cuba. They were coming from Cayman. So in fact...
I understand that they weren't coming from Cuba. The point I'm trying to make here is Cuba is next door to us. The Panamanians, yes, they may not have seen documents, but they're also Spanish-speaking people. And Spanish-speaking people, they know where you're from, depending on the dialect of Spanish you speak. So my question is, why bring them to our shores? Why not drop them to Cuba? Cuba speaks Spanish. We do not. Or they could have taken them into Panama also and dealt with them from there. So I've always been troubled by that. And furthermore, when they arrived here, Cayman did not have to accept that boat and grant them any kind of permission to dock here. I watched it on the news, what they were carrying on with. I was appalled. No, I was appalled because what I was actually waiting to see were the handcuffs coming out and they leading them out like the sheeple that they are in Cuba. They cannot behave like this in Cuba. Anybody that has been to Cuba can say, you will not believe when you see them out of Cuba that they're the same people. They dare not. They can't protest. They can't even talk back to a police officer if they're spoken to by one. They are well behaved. The only problem that they have is that they don't want to live in Cuba under the regime. And that is why they hold this anger. When they get out, then they're spewing it where they go. And I must say, he is the only one that I have seen behave like this.
Yes.
So I say it's time we take this asylum from him, either park him up in Northwood Prison till they decide what they're going to do with him, or assist him in getting his wife, wherever she's from, getting entry into her country. Then let them deal with him. That's in the Spanish-speaking country. These are the things that can be looked at. You give people asylum, it has to be looked at in many areas. How do they fit in? Do we speak the same language? And so on. Just to share this very quickly, I watched this on the news the other day. You know, America has been deporting these people out. They're not deporting them back to their own countries. They're forcing them on other places. Well, Antigua and Barbuda was one. So they wanted to send a pile of them there. But their prime minister said, no, we can't take all of them. I think he said we could take about 12. He said, bearing in mind the language barrier, he said, we're small, and we also have to protect other people. We don't know who they are. We don't know how well they will integrate here. We don't know if they're qualified to take up jobs there. In other words, what are they going to give back to us? So now you probably hear more about Antigua in the news because America didn't like that answer. That's right. That's right. So if Antigua could stand up and lay it out and say why they can't take certain, and these are people, I think some of them are Haitian, and we know what's going on there. It's not like Antigua was being mean, but they were just trying to point out, why are you going to take them from here and then put them here? And in other words, they're all off there by themselves. They don't speak the and so on. So I think it's time that Cayman starts to look at these things with a broader brush.
Yes.
Or should I say a smaller brush? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
and I'm going to share, thank you, Ms. Brenda. I'm actually going to share some of the video. I think one thing with Caymanians is we have very short and selective memory about what people come here and do. So I'm just looking up some of the video from the time, this was April 2021, to remind people of what Javier and his comrades were up to back then, and exactly, you know, what behavior they engaged in. Thank you so much.
So you're telling me he's been here. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, the time flies.
Yes.
Yep, time flies, my dear.
But you know what? Even if he had been granted a U.S. visa, that would have expired by now. So I say it's time to re-examine him. He doesn't have status, and see the audacity he has. Now he's demanding to be naturalized. And let me just offer this as well. I know a lot of people say if this was Jamaica, well, I can tell you all, if it was anywhere else, the Bahamas, any of those other islands, St. Martin and Anguilla, what's the other one right there? St. Kitts Nevis, Dominica, that would never have been allowed. He would have been escorted, whether by his will or by theirs, out of that building, and he would have been locked away. Then they would have decided what they would do with him next. So it's not just Jamaica that would know how to handle him. All of the other islands would know as well. Cayman needs to catch on. We need to learn. We need to pull a chapter from their book, and we need to exercise that like yesterday. Thank you, Sandra.
I appreciate it. So yes, unfortunately, Facebook has removed a lot of the videos because last year Facebook has this new policy that if it was a live video, they don't keep live videos past 30 days. So a lot of those videos were live. Child, I was out there. I remember this very, very clearly. I was out there sitting down at the what's the restaurant there in South Sound with the pink building, Sunset House, recording and sharing with people exactly what this man was up to. So we had a lot of footage, but unfortunately, because of the Facebook policy, they took down all the videos, and now videos only get to stay up for 30 days. But there is one that wasn't live that is still on there. And the caption here on this one, and this was April the 8th of 2021, boat saga update. Erica and the baby are still in the boat. Erica's his wife. They also had access to baby Tylenol, and some expressing the view that they are playing games and using the baby as a pawn. The mother is demanding a doctor come on board to check the baby. They have been provided with food, water, and Gatorade. You see, all of that. Really? You got pirate a ship, and then we can be giving you food, water, and Gatorade? Hell to the motherfucking no. What the hell? We too soft when we don't need to be. One of them said that if they come off the ship, that they want to stay in a 10-star hotel, not a 5-star hotel, and that Cayman is a dictatorship, demanding cleaning supplies for the room, because of course they were defecating and shitting all over the place, nasty fuckers, for the room that they've been staying in, and that they will continue to drink their own urine because they have not been given water. They're insisting that they be taken to Panama. So they wanted to be taken to Panama, and that ship was like, hell no. So I'm going to show you guys a snippet of this video, but I wish to God we had all the other videos, because trust me, you guys would not believe what these people have been up to. And Javier was the ringleader. So have a look at this.
Boss, you want to see the video when that people... No. Give it.
Problem you have
Sir. You want to see the video when these people arrest my baby? No. You think the Venezuela is better? You want to see the video? You think that guy is good guy? See, that is the official. That is the official. See, that is the official. Use the force in front of my baby. That official there. That is the official immigration Cayman Island. That official.
You have to come off the boat.
I mean, our people sitting there, like I said, negotiating with them. Oh, you have to come off the boat. You have to. Oh my God. These people are too much. And then they do all of that, right? They eventually took the baby off the boat. I'm just, again, looking at her news stories. The police extracted the child because she fell ill. It was the Bulk Freedom was the name of the vessel. The migrants had put up a resistance to leave. Because the boat brought them back to Cayman after they were found drifting at sea. Her parents were also brought to shore after what CMR learned was a struggle between the authorities and the child's father. Once again, Javier. It is just shocking what this man has done since he has been here. And we really need a review of his application with a view to getting him off of this island. He has got to go. Heaven Bless says, let me say it clear. If he was in Jamaica, the police would have thrown him out, and Cayman from far as Iraq could be condemning Jamaica. Listen, nowhere else in the world, I think it's fair to say, except here, would we be treating these people with kitty gloves. Honestly. So my understanding is that apparently he does have a conviction, so he's not entitled to naturalization. Listen to this now. He cannot get naturalization because he has a conviction, but his conviction is not for anything serious enough to warrant revocation of his political asylum status. I'm going to try to see if I can check the court records to see exactly what he's been convicted of. But it's probably something like this again, something minor where it's, what's he doing in the government building, public disorderly conduct and stuff like that. The time we had a lost opportunity in April of 2021 to charge him with a serious offense. And you know what? I'm going to ask the police commissioner because I want to know why that was not done. I honestly want to know. I would love to know. So let's look at some more comments. This person says, good morning. It is my understanding that Cuban pirate is with a woman who is from the Dominican Republic. She's also seeking political asylum because of him. Apparently, she has several children in the DR and they want them here. In addition, he has declared that his daughter is a born Caymanian and the child takes the nationality of the mother since they are not married. Well, they're married now, so I don't know if they were not married at the time of the child's birth, but born Caymanian, boy, you better get the hell out of here. Caller, good morning.
Miss Sandy, it's me calling back. I know you're on one topic with this whole disgusting Cuban, I get that, but I sent you one video. I want to find out if that video is true. Some adult action taking place, and the people say that it's holiday.
I saw it, honey child. Okay, we'll spend it. Try, girl.
Does it have any truth to it? Cause you know how we can do AI things now.
I got it from this weekend. Lord God,
that boy face look familiar, and I will be saying, I wonder if I remember who he is.
I got it from this weekend. We'll briefly talk about it. Yeah. Lord have mercy. I was kind of low key hoping that I wouldn't have to talk about that one, but if y'all want to talk about it, then we can talk about it. Let me see if I can get it downloaded now. But yes, honey child, that one made me chuckle. I got it on, I think it was Sunday that I got it. But whew, what a heat. Anyway, we'll continue to stay on top of this situation. We need to get rid of him, like seriously. Cameron, welcome back, honey child. How you doing? We've missed you, says Sandy. Use your superpowers and get a response from the HRC regarding the bureaucracy involved with this matter. The HRC isn't going to talk to us about a person's application, but I think that we definitely need to continue to put some political pressure, my apologies, on the situation. Lady D says exactly, Sandy, was an act of terrorism, right? How does man got away with this? Oh my God. There has to be some loophole he's using to embolden himself. Trust and believe. Tartarian says Caymanians think that the world is really nice. Nice is going to sink Cayman. Who come up with this Cayman kind garbage? Not me, Bobo. Anthony says, I heard that he goes to the East End Primary School with his daughter attends, and of course on the backs of Caymanians, and he has the whole faculty in fear of him. Lord God, what a mess. No way. Raymond, good morning, says, they say no good deed goes unpunished. That's what we getting for Caymankind. Hello. All right, another commenter says, the answer is no, irksome. I came quietly through the work permit, years, PR, naturalization, and now in the status quo for almost a year. I know if at any moment I don't like the system, I can go back where I come from. Then I see this jerk. Yep. He makes a mockery, trust me, of the entire system. All right. This other person says he's being a nuisance and harassing people. So isn't that an arrestable offense? A Caymanian would have been arrested, or a Jamaican. Yep. It's a mess. It is a hot mess and then some. No two ways about it, honey child. No two ways about it. We have our people, we hold our people to a higher standard and giving everyone else a PLAHI, says Raymond. Yeah, and I better wake up, says Tartarian. It's across the board and every level. Carrie says 56 million or 5 to 6 million. Of our money was recently set aside to buy houses and erect fabricated ones for a Cuban invasion. And we think the UK gives two shits about us. God of Egypt says, okay, nice lady. I'm always happy to hear you love your voice. I think he was talking to Miss Brenda. Damien says, yep, communism sets entitlement to these people. You owe me because I was under persecution. Ms. Pat says it's time to stand up and demand government action on the long list of undesirables in our country that keeps getting longer. Stand up, Caymanians. Speaking of people standing up, Larry has finally submitted his application for his PR. And by the way, I understand he submitted it late because that's the entitlement that these motherfuckers have. right? Not even a respect to do things within time, submitted his application late, and he thinks that shit is going to get approved. Cabinet, we watching you. Because y'all the only ones who are going to be approving that shit. Because I know that board, the fact that it was late shouldn't even give them the power to look at it. Y'all better not. Somebody said, bet your cabinet can approve. I know one motherfucking thing. That is the day that we will be protesting in the streets. Don't get me started. I said to the person, oh, hell no. Cabinet, not that stupid. Not this NCFC cabinet. No. They got better sense than that. And if they lick their head and get it wrong, we can definitely hold them accountable. That's all I can say right now. But I have faith that they got better sense than that. But yes, Larry has submitted his application. Can you imagine the nerve? What they said, these people got more nerve than a tooth with a cavity. No, sir. Ellard says, whatever happened to Jeff Webb? We discussed him the other day with Canova, my dear. He's still playing sell everybody down the river in the U.S. He'll be fine. Jeff not going to jail. That boy not gonna never see a day of jail in his life. Poor thing. The poor Cuban, the poor Haitian people that never even got a little football field out of all that money he stole. Oh, Jeff Webb. What a tangled web we weave. Debbie says, I'd like to correct my commentary when speaking to Minister Ebanks. I referred to P.S. Hunter as P.S. Parchment, just providing clarity. Oh, I didn't even hear it, honey child, but no problem. Yeah, because we don't have a P.S. Parchment. You were thinking of her brother, huh? That's why we need to nip the issue in the bud ASAP, says Cameron. He will only open the floodgates for other individuals like himself. Why are we dragging our feet? Yeah, we got to do something about him. All right, today's poll question, I'll put the poll in the WhatsApp channel, will be all about Javier. Is it time for him to have his political asylum stripped? That will be the question. Irvin says, I remember the videos. Give him a hotel, 3 square meals, food stamps, and a stipend. Is that jail? And he's still here, says Lavana. This is why I'm saying don't be surprised if he tries something like this again in our government building, if he doesn't get what he wants. Well, again, coming down to where we started the show today about consequences. When there are no consequences to your behavior, people run amok. Anita wants to know who in government is responsible for refugees, or is it the governor? Well, it falls on us, the people, like our government. But he's not a refugee. He has political asylum now. What a mess. El Rey is curious as to if he has any political or criminal records, my apologies, from Cuba. Also, can't we go back and charge him with the boat incident? No, it's a little bit too late now. That was 2021. That's five years ago. Statute of limitation. And then you have an issue with witnesses and all that other kind of stuff. So they needed to charge him at the time, and they didn't. Is it possible that someone else or some entity is behind all this chaos and confusion this dude is causing? No, it's just him. He is just an ungrateful SOB, hell-bent on making all of our lives miserable and trying to disgrace us. Dude, okay. Maybe we need to translate for him because his English not that good. But you will not get naturalization because you have a criminal record. So the UK is not going to give it to you. Somebody translate that in Espanol, por favor. Tell him to go sit his backside down. Ellard says, well, if Darlene Oku from the prosecution could come after you and charge you after all those years, obviously there's certain time limits. No. They were within time. Let me be clear about what happened there. They were within time. It's just that a case will take years to come to the courts. So within a short order of me doing that video, this is the Matthew Leslie one back in, was it 2019? When was the video? I think the video was done in September 2019. We made it to court in, I think it was 2020. But that's just the process of how long things take to court. So it's not that they didn't come right away and arrest me and go through their whole foolishness. So there was no time limit considerations. You can't wait 4 or 5 years to then decide, oh, you're going to arrest someone and then charge someone for an offense. Unless, let me be clear, there's a caveat here, unless it's an ongoing investigation where you can say, you know, it's never been a closed investigation, new evidence has come forward. Say, for example, the case in Cayman Brac with the lady who they said was murdered. And then they charged Mr. What his name is again? Whatever his name is, I can't remember now. And of course, now they've closed that investigation because they arrested him, but didn't have enough to charge him after like 30 years. I'm like, what was the point of arresting him even? If you didn't have enough. But I guess they wanted to put together what they had and send it over to the DPP's office. Because remember, the police do the investigation. They put the file together. They send it to DPP. And then DPP is the one who makes a decision about whether or not to, they recommend whether or not charges should be laid. Because supposedly they're the ones who know the law. You know, that case has always bothered me. And one thing that I've said is what the children of that woman should do is they should sue, just like the OJ case. You might not get a criminal conviction. Maybe there's, because the burden of proof for criminality is quite high, but the civil burden is a much lower burden. So what that family should do is sue that man. He's still alive. He's still got an estate and money, whatever. Sue him in a civil court of law and see if you can't win civil damages. Y'all better call recover. Y'all making people kill your family, and then you get nothing from the police, nothing from the DPP's office, and you don't sue them for wrongful death either. I'm just saying. You got options, honey child. All right, so just before we end the program, there is a video. Any children watching, please take your children away, because this is not a child-friendly discussion, okay? This is about having sex in public places. Now, I'm not a prude. I'm not going to address some of y'all into it, voyeurism and getting your nuts cracked in public parks and whatever. But you have to know, oh, by the way, someone said that there's no statute of limitation in acts of piracy, of marine piracy. Let me just say this. You have to know that there are, there are rules of, listen, how can I say this? Okay. If you choose to engage in certain behavior in public, that's on you. Like I said, I'm not judging. I really am not judging. Because, we're not gonna get into it. Let's just say that Auntie is not going to judge y'all. However, you have to know that if you get caught having sex in public, in this day and age, back in the day, you didn't have to worry about people. Everybody had a camera, right? Back in those days, nobody didn't have no cameras when we were around, when we were making out at university and doing all kind of little things. Okay, nobody had a camera. Nobody was watching. But now, jeez, everybody has a camera. Everybody's a news reporter. Everybody is up in your business. So this is the one that's going viral. Now, I don't know if this is Cayman or not. Some people say, oh, the guy looks like somebody who looks familiar. I don't know. I can't identify the property. Jason Brown posted it on social media. I do not know if this is the Cayman Islands. I can't swear. Somebody say, oh, that look like this property or that property, East End. And I have no clue. Okay. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to give you briefly just my thoughts on the hot mess of a situation. All right, here we go. Of course, he actually put music to it as well, which is low-key funny.
Sister Anna, Sister Ruth, make sure that everybody get a seat. Come on, y'all. Sister Lily may go back in the kitchen, cause when I get through, I need to eat.
Lord have mercy. So the music is what makes this really funny, but here these people are, some man of color is having sex on a balcony with some white lady. Now, the funniest thing of this video is not that people have sex in public, because people do it. Some people like the I don't know, the breeze going through their hair. They like the risk of like potentially being caught, potentially being seen. I don't even know. Whatever little kicks they're getting out of it. But the part of this that is really, really crazy is the fact that obviously at some point he recognizes or realizes that someone is actually taking footage of him. Somebody's recording, because you even see her kind of look up a little bit, and then she sees the person too and puts her head back down, and he's staring right at him, honey child. He's like, well, I'm going to keep working this situation. But the madness is the husband. Now, you know, there's something called, what is it called? Cockling, something it is, where you spouses and boyfriends and whatever, apparently you guys enjoy having someone else have sex with your partners, and you like to watch. Is it cockling? What's it called? Something. And you guys enjoy it, and it's some kind of fetish, and people enjoy it. And, you know, the truth of the matter is she probably always wanted a black man anyway, but, you know, couldn't go right out and get one. So then she tells this poor little old husband at some point that this was right. But look at him. Look at what a good husband he is. Here he comes, coming out of the room, looks like, right, on the balcony with his little t-shirt on, his little, what do you call these little shirts, marinas? And I've never seen a male marina with a back like that, though. But anyway, here he comes out, and he's like, come on, honey, I'm gonna protect you. You come inside now, because people are watching. Voyeurism. So he wants to watch, but he don't want nobody else to watch. And he's like, okay, y'all can come inside and keep doing it inside. So look at him. He's like, hey, just come inside. Come inside. They were going to keep going outside if the man didn't come, if the husband didn't come and touch her and say, all right, stop it. Let's just go inside. And there she picks up her towel and goes out, butt naked, you know. These people don't have no scruples. I mean, the second they realized that they were being recorded, oh my God, I would have been so frightened to death. I would have been like, oh my God, we got to stop right now. No, sir. They just kept going. That guy, he was working like somebody was paying him to have sex with this woman. He's like, I'm going to get my money's worth. Come on, let's keep going. I got to earn my $500. Girl, I don't know what to say. I don't know if it's Cayman. Richard says it looks like it's Moritz. I don't know. I have no clue where this video was taken. He looks familiar, but I gotta be honest with you, I can't swear that I know him. You know, a lot of people have familiar looking faces. What I do know is he does not look like he was bothered. It wasn't until the husband came out that was the husband. The husband's more bothered than the two of them. The husband was the one who was like, oh no, we gotta take it inside now. They're watching, you know. Yeah, okay, let's take this inside. What the what? They said the couple called for a plumber. There was a leak on the balcony. Lord have mercy. I don't know what to say. These people are just low-key crazy. Like I said, yes, Miss Brenda, public orgy. In this day and age, don't do this stuff. Because people are watching. Cameras are everywhere. So somebody was obviously down, and they zoomed. You notice how it started out? See how the video started? It looks like there's a fence in between them. And they're all the way down at the bottom, and they zoomed right in to the two of them and what they were up to. Lord have mercy. That must have been an iPhone on super zoom. No, sir. But what you gonna do, Miss Brenda? I mean, you can't police everything, and certainly the freaky. Lots of it going on here, girl. You would be surprised. Sophia said, "Lord, I want to be like them when I grow up." Try and behave yourself. Oh my God. It's just too much. It is just crazy. He probably boned the husband too. Listen, I say just keep it in the privacy of your homes. Oh my God. I got a story to tell y'all, but I can't tell y'all this story about some tenants that we had. When the couple months we were doing Airbnb, I was like, no, sir, I need to get out of this Airbnb thing, man, because these people they're freaks. So we had a common area I can't tell you all this story. Let's just say that I had to message them through Airbnb and say, sir, this area of the property is not for your sexual pleasure. Please, sir, stop it. Okay. I had to notify Airbnb. I said, you got 3,000 square feet on the inside, even rooftop that has a high enough wall that if you wanted to go there and get your freak on, nobody not gonna see you and you'll be fine. Why y'all? Why? Oh my God. They are super freaks. And this was a group situation too. So Miss Brenda, when you talk about, roar, swinging engine, when you're talking about group sex and orgies and stuff, don't put nothing past these people, honey child. They are a special bunch. And a lot of people come to vacation to get their kicks on. That's why they love these all-inclusive freaky resort sandals where they can all walk around naked and have their bubbies hanging down to their knees and all kind of stuff. They don't have nothing about them called behavior. They don't care. They're freaky leaky deaky. Yeah, they're a hot mess and then some. Lord have mercy. Anyway, good luck to them. I guess they might be the least of our worries, to be quite frank and honest. I say just keep it inside. Keep it private. Keep it inside your property. And then nobody not gonna be talking about you on social media. Yeah, what more can I possibly say about that one? That's all I gotta say. There's no confirmation that it's Cayman, so I don't really know. All right, hedonism. Yeah, that's a mess. Are those units around? Look, I gotta come back to my ICE agent. I gotta put police on there. Popo agent. Having to police everything that's going on around. Yeah. So he says that they hired the black man to screw his wife who looks elderly. She didn't look that elderly, but okay. Has Larry's traffic case come up? If so, then how is he entitled to apply for PR? Again, it's not about being entitled. Anybody can apply. That doesn't mean that you're going to get it. We need to chase up his case as well. I'll ask Renee to give us some dates on that. Okay, so there we are, folks. Tomorrow I will have a pre-recorded video that I'll be playing for you guys during the show because I'm off to the CUC's Women in Energy Forum. I want to attend that so I can get some more footage and we can talk about that next week. But still tune in because tomorrow is going to be about the environment and the sustainability event that the chamber recently had. So we'll air that for tomorrow's show. Have a beautiful day, folks. And please be safe out there. No sex on balconies. Don't be a Javier, which means don't be an asshole. Be appreciative to your country that does a lot of wonderful things. Don't go in other people's countries and be a Javier. Yeah. All right. Until mañana. Not sandals. Hubby and I go there. Anna's like, the girl, don't get the name wrong. Thank you, Miss Brenda said the same thing. Is hedonism, are they still around? I don't even know. Oh Lord, fear no evil. We don't know that. We don't know that. The camera was not at that angle. And so let's not speculate about all of what they could have been doing. Obviously it was sexual behavior. Yes. Okay. Technically they were on their own balcony. So I don't know if any laws would have been broken if it is here in Cayman, but yeah, they wanted some fresh ocean breeze, I guess. I don't know. All right, folks, have a beautiful day. See you tomorrow. Well, see you Monday.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.